Chapter 888. Shisheng flipped through Xiaoyu's sketchbook. It was almost finished. There were crooked words written on it, indicating the location and time. When he flipped to the back, Shisheng saw a very abstract figure. It should be a man. His whole body was black, and there were black marks all around. The location was this hotel. Her room number. Shisheng stared at it for a long time. He could barely tell that it was a person. The next few pictures were the same, but the time was different. Shisheng closed the sketchbook, got up, and walked upstairs. "Miss G, it's best if you don't leave the lobby." A policeman recognized her and reminded her. The hotel said that the alarm was triggered by someone, which meant that it was man-made. Maybe there were criminals in the hotel. "Got it," Shisheng answered, but her steps did not stop as she continued to walk up the stairs. When he returned to his floor, Chu Miao was standing outside his room. She was floating back and forth, looking very anxious. When Shisheng came out, she immediately rushed over. "Li Chengyun is here. What should we do? I can feel him." "You're that scared of him?" Shisheng raised his eyebrows. Chu Miao's expression changed. "I'm not scared of him. Chu Miao yelled like a frightened little hen. "I just don't want to see him. Who knows what he wants to do with me?" After yelling, Chu Miao's aura weakened. "Li Chengyun and I have a contract. If he catches me, I can't do anything." "Then run." They were in all directions. She could run wherever she wanted. Why would she be afraid of not being able to escape? No matter how strong Li Chengyun was, he was still a person. "Run." Chu Miao's expression became even worse. "I can't get out of here. If I could run, I would have done it already." Shisheng. When she met Li Chengyun before, she really did run if she could. This was the first time he saw a female protagonist running away when she met a male protagonist. "What do you mean we can't get out?" They couldn't get out of the door, but ghosts didn't use the door. "We can't get out. There's a layer of black fog outside. The black fog can swallow us." Chu Miao's expression changed as she spoke. "Li Chengyun is here. What should we do? What should we do?" Chu Miao floated upward. When the elevator door opened, the last bit of Chu Miao's skirt disappeared into the ceiling. Shisheng looked in the direction of the elevator. It was empty. No one was inside. "There's a ghost." The clock ticked away. Shisheng laid on the bed, not feeling sleepy at all. She sat up, scratched her head, got off the bed, and left the room. Shisheng went to the hall to get some food. It was not yet midnight, and there were still many people in the hall, but some of them had gone back to their rooms to rest. "Hello, Miss G." Shisheng bit his spoon and mumbled, "What? Damn it. Why can't you let me eat something nice?" "Miss G, Officer Li wants to talk to you." The policeman handed over a phone. Shisheng stared at the phone for a moment, then took it and put it to his ear. "Spit it out." "Miss G, it's an emergency. I hope you can help us in the hotel." Li did not waste any time and went straight to the point. "We detected a very strong aura of resentment in the hotel. If we can't subdue it in time, everyone in the hotel will be in danger, including you. You want me to help?" Shisheng put down his spoon and supported his face with his hand. "You're asking for my help. Miss G, you're not just helping us. You're also helping yourself." Li did not want to negotiate with this woman, but if he did not say anything, no one would come. Shisheng's voice was neither fast nor slow. "I'm not afraid of death, and there are so many people who will die with me. I'm lucky. Why should I help you?" Shisheng threw the phone to the policeman next to him and focused on eating his food. Sounds came from the phone. The policeman was stunned for a while before he answered. "Officer Li, give her the phone." Before he could finish, the woman did not answer the phone. She was too arrogant. The policeman wanted to pass the phone to her again, but just as he stretched out his hand, Shisheng gave him a threatening look. The policeman's heart pounded wildly. He put the phone back to his ear. "Officer Li, Miss G is not answering." There seemed to be something broken on Li's end. The policeman's scalp went numb when he heard it. Those two people from the Special Investigation Unit were treated with respect by their superiors. They did not know where they came from. Shisheng had not finished eating when the lobby was in chaos. A customer service representative stood in front of the policeman in a panic. After hearing what the customer service representative said, the policeman immediately sent people upstairs. Another person had died. This time, it was the woman who had caused trouble at the front desk. 10 minutes ago, she had called the customer service representative to send food upstairs. However, when the customer service representative sent the food upstairs, they found her room door open. That woman was already dead. She was lying on the bed with a knife in her back. It was a fruit knife that the hotel had left in the room. The bed was covered in blood. The policeman ordered everyone to stay at the scene and to go to the rooms below. Shisheng slowly climbed up the stairs. After everyone had left, he pushed the people in the stairwell away. The smell of blood still lingered in the air. Shisheng stepped on the soft carpet and walked toward the room where the crime had occurred. The closer he got to the room, the stronger the smell of blood. A chilly wind blew from the end of the corridor. It was bone-chilling. The lights above his head flickered non-stop. Shisheng did not stop. He continued to walk toward the room. Just as he stood outside the door, the chilly wind that had been lingering in the corridor suddenly became stronger. With a bang, the corridor was plunged into darkness. Shisheng quickly took out his iron sword and swung it behind him. The iron sword seemed to have hit something. It was a little sluggish. A shrill scream filled his eardrums. B*tch, mind your own business. The sound seemed to come from all directions. Wave after wave it hit his eardrums. Shisheng followed his instinct and swung his sword to the side again. Go to hell. B*tch, go to hell. Shisheng felt something wrap around his wrist. It quickly spread to his neck and tightened violently. It seemed to want to strangle him. But that feeling disappeared quickly. He was pulled by someone and knocked against the wall. The iron sword hit the door beside him with a loud bang. Shisheng steadied herself. A black shadow swayed in front of her. She felt as if she had gone from midsummer to winter. It was so cold that she shivered. It was him. Shisheng swung his iron sword and pounced on the black shadow. The closer he got to him, the more Shisheng felt that something was wrong. Before he could react, the iron sword had already swung down. The cold light flashed across the corridor. The black shadow seemed to have been split in half and dissipated in the air. The screams suddenly stopped. Only the chilly wind was left. The chilly wind was mixed with the smell of blood. It was nauseating. The feng xi you want is coming online. But I'm stuck. Ha ha. Don't talk and vote. Pretend that I'm not here. Chapter 889. The extinguished lights lit up one by one. The entire corridor was empty. There was nothing at all. It was as if what she saw just now was an illusion. Shisheng retracted his iron sword and propped it against the ground. She couldn't have been wrong. It was that idiot feng xi. How could he secretly follow her for so long? King idiot. Bzzzt. The lights above her started to flicker again. The corridor was faintly discernible in the weak light, looking eerie and strange. Finally, it fell into darkness with a bang. There seemed to be screams coming from downstairs. The sound pierced through the floors and made one's scalp tingle. The entire hotel was in a state of panic. The angered ghost harmed people everywhere. Everyone was gathered in the lobby. The police frantically called outside. At first, they could still make calls, but they couldn't hear what was being said. Later on, there was no signal at all. Is Miss G there? The police shouted at the top of his lungs. But no one in the noisy crowd responded. I'll go up and find her. The police gritted his teeth. He had told him that if anything happened, he could find Ji Luiying. Even if he had to beg her, he had to ask her to help. Although he didn't really understand why, he had to take a gamble in the current situation. We don't know what's going on upstairs. You can't go up rashly. Someone pulled back the volunteer police officer. The people's police had to protect the people. At times like this, they had to disregard life and death. Bring a gun. The other party cut him off and stuffed a gun into his hands. The police officer's unfinished lines died in his stomach. He gripped the cold gun and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. If there was really a ghost, could this gun deal with it? Shisheng was climbing the stairs. At this time, Taking the elevator would be suicide. The entire hotel was pitch black. This eerie place was very suitable for a fight. Shisheng went through the rooms one by one. Kacha, kacha, kacha. Kacha. Shisheng shone his flashlight into the room where the sound came from. He swaggered over and slashed the door open with his sword. How is this supernatural language? This is crossing the line of fire. Shisheng scanned the room with his flashlight. There was nothing inside. Kacha, 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 kacha. The voice came from the next room again. She kicked the Shisheng all the way. Every time she kicked a room, the sound would change. Flip the table. So what if ghosts can pass through walls? Shisheng held the flashlight in his mouth and started to take something out of his pocket. She threw the iron sword away and waved a few talisman papers in her hand. The talisman papers automatically circled around the iron sword. After 3 revolutions, they wrapped around the iron sword. The talisman paper emitted a red light. Rings of light rippled from the tip of the iron sword, penetrated the walls and the floor, and spread up, down, left, and right. Shisheng took a step back and swung his iron sword slightly. The tip of the sword slowly turned and pointed at a room at the end of the hall. Go and kill it. Shisheng ordered the iron sword calmly. Buzz. The iron sword protested. Why was it again? Did it have to be a professional fighter now? It was just a sword. Although the iron sword was reluctant, it was forced to do so by Shisheng's abuse of power. The iron sword was no less violent than its owner. It violently slashed the door open. After a few screams, there was only the sound of cracking. Shisheng was about to go over when a shadow suddenly appeared in front of her. Her neck was grabbed by a cold hand and pushed against the wall. A cold body pressed against Shisheng's body. The coldness made her feel like she was stuffed into a freezer and was about to freeze into a popsicle. Shisheng raised her hand and hit the other party. Motherf asterisk Kerr, I haven't seen you in a plane, but you dare to hit me? Let go of me. Shisheng raised her head. She was a little uncomfortable. Her voice was squeezed out from between her teeth. Instead of letting go, the other party tightened his grip. He pulled Shisheng into his arms with his other hand. His clear voice, accompanied by a gust of cold air, rushed into Shisheng's ears. Good girl, it'll be over soon. Over soon, my ass. Shisheng's body was stiff from the cold. She struggled to take out a few talismans from her space and slapped them on his body without hesitation. The talismans glowed as soon as they touched his body. The hand that was strangling Shisheng loosened. Shisheng took the opportunity to grab his hand and pressed him against the wall. What do you want? His teeth chattered. The talismans did not cause him much damage, but he did not move and allowed Shisheng to imprison him. He tilted his head, and the hood on his head slipped down. The red light that had yet to dissipate swept across his silver hair and dyed it a faint red. He pursed his lips slightly. His drooping hair covered one of his eyes, while the other stared straight at Shisheng. I's asking you a question. What did you want to do just now? Shisheng frowned. This idiot definitely wanted to kill her just now. His lips parted slightly. I want you to be with me. You want me to be with you, so you want to kill me? What kind of logic was this? Alright, that idiot Fengxi's logic had always been like this. This was not the first time he wanted to kill her. Shisheng was a little confused. You're a human, and I'm a ghost. You can only be with me when you're dead. Who told you that? Haven't you heard of unresolved love between humans and ghosts? F***ck this idiot. He shook his head. My mother told me that. Shisheng. This is so frustrating. Why did she fall for such an idiot? I want a refund. I want a refund. I'll let go of you. Don't try to kill me again. Shisheng glared at him fiercely. Fine. If you dare to kill me, I'll never agree to be with you. Shisheng cut him off. He thought for a moment. All right then. Shisheng let go of him and took a few steps back. What's your name? Guyue. Guyue as in returning. Guyue as in bright moon. He put his hat back on, covering his silver hair and face. Guyue? This was the biggest antagonist in the novel. The Lord of the Underworld, the Ghost King Guyue. There wasn't much information about him. In the later stages of the novel, he had always been against the male lead. In the end, The male lead had dealt with him very badly. In the end, he had been suppressed under the 18 levels of hell, and suffered the pain of being burned by fire every day. Ji Luiying. I know. Guiyue's hands tightened under the black robe, and waves of coldness surged out from her body. Shisheng looked over. Guiyue immediately let go of her hands, and retracted her coldness. Shisheng walked towards the room where the iron sword was. How long have you been following me? Guiyue followed behind him, her feet not touching the ground. She thought for a moment before answering. 153 days and 17 hours. 5 months ago? F*CK. That was when she had just returned to City Z. Was it you last time? Shisheng paused and turned to look at her. Guiyue was silent for a moment. Yes. He should kill her so that she could be with him. But he didn't want to go against her words. How strange. Shisheng ground his teeth. Very good. This idiot had wanted to kill her back then. I'll deal with you later. Chapter 890. The room was a mess. A blurry figure was forced into a corner by the iron sword. The moment Shisheng entered, the blurry figure began to tremble. Of course, she was not afraid of Shisheng, but of Guiyu, who had floated in behind Shisheng. Probably because the resentment was too strong, Shisheng could also see her. It was a woman wearing a bright red dress. Her feet were bare, and her hair was loose, covering most of her face. She fit the image of a female ghost very well. Probably because of the fight with the iron sword just now, her red dress was torn and tattered all over. The woman's face was pale, and she was trembling. Her eyes were filled with malevolence and unwillingness. It was bad enough that she met a ghost king, but she also met such a strange sword. The female ghost shrank into a ball and stared at Guiyu warily. Guiyu slowly reached out her hand. The female ghost's expression changed, and she immediately knelt on the ground. Ghost King, please spare my life. I did not mean to fight you. I know I was wrong. Ghost King, please spare my life. Guiyu did not listen to the female ghost's explanation. She closed her hand, and the female ghost's expression froze. Her body suddenly exploded, dispersing into a cloud of black fog. The black fog seemed to want to rush towards Guiyu. Guiyu waved her hand, and the black fog enveloped the surroundings. In the blink of an eye, it disappeared completely. This series of actions flowed smoothly, so fast that Shisheng could only look at her in confusion. Guiyu retracted her hand into the black robe, and her voice rang out in the room. She wanted to kill you. So I killed her. He would not allow anyone who wanted to hurt her to exist. She could only belong to him, from her body to her heart. Guiyu tugged on the black robe and stepped back a little. Did you kill those 4 people as well? The 4 criminals who had died inexplicably. Guiyu tilted her head, as if thinking about who she was talking about. After a while she replied, yes. Shisheng. The female ghost was dead. The hotel's alarm was not lifted, but the lights were turned on again. With the light, the atmosphere of the hotel changed. There was no longer that oppressive resentment. The sinister atmosphere was still there. After all, the Ghost King was here. Shisheng was about to leave the room when a white figure suddenly floated in, followed by the sound of hurried footsteps. When Chu Miao saw Shisheng, she was delighted. But when her gaze came into contact with Guiyu beside Shisheng, she was startled. Why was he here? Chu Miao still remembered clearly what happened last time. She had accidentally barged into that room and was caught by him. The strange thing was that he didn't kill her. Instead, he let her bring him into the elevator. He probably wanted to kill her. Now that she saw the 2 of them standing together, she felt strange. Footsteps approached, and a figure appeared at the door. The flow of the entire space seemed to have been slowed down by someone, and a treacherous and eerie aura slowly seeped in. Shisheng stabbed the iron sword into the ground, and the crisp sound broke the strange atmosphere. Chu Miao slipped behind the Shisheng. Li Qingyun's face instantly turned ugly. Chu Miao, do you know who she is? Chu Miao didn't know Shisheng's name until now. She only heard people call her Miss Ji. Li Qingyun saw Chu Miao's expression and knew she didn't know. She's Jifeng's daughter. Chu Miao was very familiar with the name Jifeng. Jifeng was the one who caused her brother to be framed and imprisoned for no reason. Chu Miao looked at Shisheng in disbelief. She was Ji Feng's daughter? Li Qingyan waved at Chu Miao, and his face softened. Come here. You're Ji Feng's daughter? Chu Miao's voice trembled. How could she be Ji Feng's daughter? Ji, I used to be. Shisheng shrugged carelessly. How is that possible? She was so nice to the daughter of her enemy? Shisheng's lips curled into a slight curve. His smile was a bit evil. Obviously that's the truth. How could you be Ji Feng's daughter? How could you lie to me? Chu Miao shook her head and stepped back. How did I lie to you? Be reasonable, female lead. The person you're making trouble for is over there. If you make trouble for me, you'll get beaten up. Chu Miao bit her lip. She didn't tell her what her name was, so she didn't lie to her. But when she thought about how she had been with her enemy's daughter for so long, Chu Miao suddenly turned her head and ran into the wall, disappearing in front of everyone. Shisheng. Running away without saying anything, as expected of the female lead. Li Qingyan seemed to care a lot about Chu Miao. He didn't even try to find fault with Shisheng. He turned around and chased after her. Because it was a supernatural incident, the hotel murder case wasn't publicized to the public. They only found a few excuses to brush it off. All the people involved were invited to a small dark room for a private discussion. Shisheng later heard that there had been a murder case in this hotel before. The victim was a woman. She slit her wrists in the middle of the night in a hotel room. The woman came to the hotel to celebrate her 5th wedding anniversary with her husband. She wanted to give her husband a surprise, so she prepared in the hotel. Who knew that she would run into her husband having an affair? The woman and the mistress got into a fight. The husband was so angry that he wanted to divorce the woman. The woman couldn't take the blow and killed herself. The woman was wearing a red dress when she died. The timing was just right, so she became a ghost. After that, the hotel had a few more incidents, but they were all trivial. The hotel staff didn't tell anyone about it. Until something like this happened. The girl who died first betrayed the boy. She didn't betray the boy physically but mentally. The two who died later had an abnormal relationship. Sister, sister, sister. Xiaoyu ran all the way and ran into Shisheng's arms. He raised his head, and his watery eyes were full of joy. Sister, thank you. Shisheng patted his head and said calmly, you deserve it. Xiaoyu pulled at his slightly thick clothes and took out the pendant. Sister, this pendant will really protect me. Shisheng rudely stuffed the pendant back into his hand. Don't let anyone know about this. Be careful, or you'll get killed. Fatal disaster? What do you mean by killed? Xiaoyu tilted his head and asked curiously. It's... Shisheng put his hand across his neck. Do you understand? Xiaoyu nodded, but he didn't really understand. Host, is it okay for you to talk like this? He's still a child. A child? Xiaoyu. Xiaoyu's mother called him from afar. We should go. Xiaoyu stuck out his tongue. Sister, I'm leaving. I won't let anyone know about its existence. Only Mommy and I know about it. Sister, will we meet again? Shisheng took a step back. No. I don't believe you. We'll definitely meet again. Humph. Xiaoyu pouted and snorted. Goodbye, sister. Shisheng waved his hand. Hurry up and go. Naughty children were the most annoying. Xiaoyu's mother urged him a few more times. Xiaoyu ran over and got into a car. The car drove past Shisheng. Xiaoyu leaned against the car window and put his hands around his mouth to amplify his voice. Sister, we'll definitely meet again. Chapter 891. After Xiaoyu left, Guiyu's figure slowly appeared. Shisheng tilted his head to look at him. His entire body was still shrouded in the black robe, and he did not understand why he had to cover himself up. What's wrong? Guiyu floated toward Shisheng. The light gradually drew closer, and his face became clearer. Shisheng pursed his lips and turned his head away, ignoring him. Who asked him to want to kill her? This baby has a temper too. Guiyu immediately circled in front of Shisheng. Are you angry? Why? Nonsense. Even his little lover wants to kill him, and you're not angry. Move aside. No. Guiyu blocked Shisheng's path, his tone stubborn. Don't you like me? Do you know what it means to like someone? Guiyu tilted his head. I want to be with you. Isn't that like? Shisheng met Guiyu's eyes. Then why do you want to be with me? Guiyu was silent for a while. His fair and slender fingers reached out from under the black robe and gently touched Shisheng's cheek. Seeing that she did not object, he carefully cupped her face. I just want to be with you. Are you not willing? His voice had a layer of hoarseness. His cold fingertips caressed her cheek, and the coldness quickly seeped into her body. A dangerous aura circulated around him. Shisheng. If she said she was not willing, would he strangle her to death? Shisheng courted death by saying, I'm not willing. Sure enough, after she finished speaking, Guiyu's hand was placed on her neck, but he did not use any force. His fingertips rubbed against Shisheng's neck twice. She felt that her brain was about to freeze into a block of ice. One word, cold. Two words, so cold. Guiyu looked seriously at Shisheng. Is there something wrong with me? Shisheng pointed at his hand, his voice trembling. You want to strangle me at the drop of a hat. Do you think I'll be willing? Guiyu immediately retracted his hand and tucked it into his robe. If I don't strangle you, will you be willing? The coldness on his neck disappeared. Shisheng reached out and touched his neck. The warmth of his palm dispelled the coldness. It depends on my mood. Shisheng wanted to go around him and leave, but Guiyu wanted to block his way again. It seemed that he would not be satisfied if he did not get an answer. I dare you to block my way again. Shisheng glared at him fiercely. Guiyu's body paused. After hesitating for a moment, she slowly moved away and cautiously asked, Then can I follow you? For some reason, Shisheng imagined the aggrieved look on his face. F***ck there's poison. This is against the rules, I won't accept it. Shisheng took a deep breath. Are you following me so that you can kill me? I will protect you, Guiyu said seriously, as if she was making a vow to the most important person in her life. Shisheng snorted. We don't know who's going to protect who. You want to protect I with your weak body? Dream on. I will protect you. Guiyu stubbornly repeated herself. Shisheng. Even if Shisheng did not agree to Guiyu following her, he would still stubbornly follow her. Hence, Shisheng's opinion was not important at all. Guiyu tried her best to hide her intention to kill her, but occasionally, she would inadvertently reveal it. This time, Feng Xiai was poisonous. Miss Ji, please wait. Li He caught up from behind. Miss Ji. Shisheng instinctively turned to look at Guiyu. Guiyu tilted her head, as if she did not understand why Shisheng was looking at her. Li He did not even look at Guiyu until he ran in. He actually could not see her? Li He should have some special abilities. Miss Ji, there is a document here that needs your signature. Li He actually did not like Shisheng. She actually dared to hang up on him. He could not tolerate it. But this was his job, and he could not shirk it. What document? Shisheng glanced at his hand. It's a confidentiality agreement. Everyone has signed it. It's not targeted at Miss Ji alone. Li He handed the document to Shisheng. I'm not signing it. Li He knew that he would hit a wall with this woman. He suppressed his anger. Miss Ji, please cooperate with us. What can you do if I don't cooperate? Arrest me? Li He. Of course he could not arrest her. She did not commit any crime. If he could arrest her, he would have done so long ago. Miss Ji, why do you have to make things difficult for us? Even if I sign it, can you guarantee that I won't tell anyone? My mouth is on my body. Can you control what I say? Shisheng sneered and interrupted Li He. His face was full of arrogance. No one can stop me from saying what I want to say. Li He. This woman is asking for a beating. Li He talked for a long time, but to no avail. In the end, he called the captain to ask for his opinion. In the end, the captain only said 2 words. Let her be. Let her be. Let her be. Captain, tell me honestly. Do you have a crush on her? In the end, Li He left reluctantly. Anyway, he was just following the captain's orders. If anything happened, he would not be responsible. After Li He left, Shisheng looked at Guiyu. He can't see you? You're the only one who can see me. This is the privilege I give you. Shisheng's mouth twitched. That's really a privilege. Guiyu leaned closer to Shisheng. Do you like it? I like it as long as you don't want to kill me. But Guiyu paused. You can only be with me if you die. Don't you want to be with me forever? Shisheng felt that this child was sick. Feng Xiai was sick to begin with. Even if I die, I won't necessarily become a ghost. If she died, she would be sent back to the system space. Why would she die? I'm here. You can do it. He was the Ghost King. He could make whoever he wanted stay. I can't. You don't like me, Guiyu concluded. No. Guiyu sounded aggrieved. Then why don't you want to be with me forever? Is there something about me that's not good enough? This has nothing to do with whether I die or not. Why was this topic so strange? Why was she discussing death with him? You just don't like me. Guiyu lowered her head dejectedly. Shisheng. I already said I don't like you. Damn this idiot. Shisheng could feel the murderous intent from Du Guiyue growing stronger. The air around them seemed to have frozen, making it difficult to breathe. But he didn't come over. Guiyu was very conflicted. He didn't know whether to kill her or leave. He should kill her. That way, she could stay by his side forever. But it was so uncomfortable. He didn't want to hurt her. Guiyu couldn't suppress the violent impulse in his body. He simply disappeared in a flash. Shisheng looked at the empty space beside him and the strange gazes from all around him. Just now this little girl was talking to herself. He didn't see her make a call. Could she have escaped from some mental hospital? Everyone involuntarily distanced themselves from Shisheng. Mental patients shouldn't be provoked. Who knew when they would go crazy and hurt people? Shisheng. I's not crazy. Why are you looking at me like I'm crazy? Chapter 892. She couldn't stay in the hotel anymore, and Shisheng had to find another place to stay. After finding Feng Xiai, Shisheng felt that she should look for a house. Shisheng found a house, and was about to pay for it when she was told that her balance was insufficient. Shisheng was dumbfounded. How could there be insufficient balance in her card? Shisheng asked the other party to swipe her card again, but the result was the same. Insufficient balance. Shisheng didn't have many cards on her, but each card should have enough money. However, after swiping all the cards, they all showed insufficient balance. Surplus. No. Sufficient. Insufficient my ass. Where's I's money? She didn't receive any notification of a transfer at all. Her money was mysteriously gone just like that. Shisheng hurriedly looked for a place to surf the internet. The money in her card couldn't be found. It was as if it had disappeared into thin air. She didn't believe that it had disappeared into thin air. However, after searching for a long time, she still couldn't find anything. Her money had indeed disappeared into thin air. Someone actually dared to steal her money. She couldn't think of anyone else who could be so daring and so capable other than that idiot Mu Bai. That idiot Mu Bai only dared to scheme against I behind her back. If you're so capable, why don't you come face to face with me? Shisheng was furious, but it was useless. She didn't even know who Mu Bai was. She had just become a millionaire, but in the blink of an eye, she had to eat dirt again. Eating dirt really made her want to chop someone up. She could chop a ghost up. Shisheng sat on a bench in the park, doubting her life. Guiyu silently appeared beside her and stared at her. Just as he was about to reach out, Shisheng grabbed his wrist and threw him to the side, pressing him down on a chair. Guiyu, I'm warning you. This is the last time. His hood slid down and his soft silver hair clung to his cheeks, accentuating his exquisite features. It was like a piece of art that had been carefully crafted. His eyes were clear and bright, like a stream that was untainted by impurities. They flowed slowly, yet they carried the coldness and loneliness of the mountains, making it difficult for others to approach them. He pursed his lips slightly and slowly reached out his other hand toward Shisheng. Shisheng froze and didn't move. His hand went past her ear and took a green leaf from her hair. Shisheng loosened his grip and stared at the green leaf for a moment before releasing it. I'm sorry. Guiyu habitually pulled her hood up and sat up straight. It's okay. Guiyu was silent for a while and looked at Shisheng. I won't hurt you. You don't have to be so guarded against me, okay? He used a question, appearing even more cautious. He didn't like her being so guarded against him. Shisheng sighed in his heart. It's not that I don't want to die. I can't die. Why? Shisheng's eyes lit up. Because you won't be able to see me if I die. Guiyu tilted her head in confusion. Shisheng reached out his hand towards Guiyu. Guiyu lowered her gaze and looked at his fair hand. His fingers peeked out from under his black robe, but he didn't put them there for a long time. He slowly retracted his fingers and wrapped himself tightly. I won't hurt you again. He longed for her touch, longed for her skin to skin. But he couldn't help it. Shisheng retracted his hand as if nothing had happened. He lowered his head and continued to doubt his life. Guiyu observed him from the corner of her eye and slowly closed the distance between them. The surrounding temperature dropped inch by inch. It was already quite cold, but Guiyu was simply adding frost to snow. Sit further away. Shisheng looked up at Guiyu. This was simply a moving ice house. It wasn't even summer now. Why would she need an ice house? Why? Did she not like him being close to her? She still didn't like him. Guiyu thought of this and wanted to kill Shisheng again. It's too cold. Shisheng frowned. Guiyu was stunned. Then she said seriously, you won't be cold if I hug you. Shisheng. If I let you hug me, I'll freeze to death, okay? He was actually trying to murder me, right? What a scary Fengxi. Shisheng refused to hug her. Guiyu was at a loss. If it wasn't for the black robe covering him, he would definitely look especially adorable right now. Don't you like me? So she didn't even let him hug her. I don't want to hug a refrigerator. Shisheng gritted his teeth. I'm not a refrigerator. You're like a refrigerator. I'm not a refrigerator. Shisheng. Retarded children are much more fun. I don't want to play with you. I'm leaving. Shisheng stood up to leave. Guiyu suddenly reached out and grabbed Shisheng, pulling him into her embrace. Shisheng felt as if he had fallen into a pool of snow. A bone-piercing chill spread throughout his body. His blood seemed to have frozen. Shisheng's body trembled, and his face gradually turned pale. Guiyu seemed to have realized something. She suddenly let go of Shisheng, undid the black robe, and draped it over Shisheng's body. The black robe wasn't cold. In fact, there was some warmth. Shisheng's body quickly warmed up. Are you feeling better? Guiyu stood in front of her, not knowing what to do. Her eyes were a little downcast. She had forgotten that she was the one who could hurt him. Even if she turned into a ghost, she wouldn't be able to withstand his touch. Shisheng was so cold he didn't want to speak, so he didn't answer Guiyu. Guiyu lowered her head and looked at her hands. The cold wind blew past her silver hair, instantly freezing it into ice. A layer of frost appeared on the ground. Ice flowers bloomed one after another. With Guiyu as the center, they spread into the distance. But in an instant, all the ice flowers disappeared. It was like a flash in the pan. Guiyu's figure also disappeared in front of Shisheng. It was as if she had never appeared. All that was left was the black robe on her body. Ji Luiying's body wasn't very healthy to begin with. After being frozen by the cold air emitted from Guiyu's body, Shisheng fell sick. At first, it was just a cold. Later, she started to have a fever and became unconscious. When she woke up, she was already in the hospital. Her surroundings were white. The light was so bright that she couldn't open her eyes. It took her a while to adjust. Her vision gradually cleared. The first thing she saw was Chu Miao, who was holding her head and floating above her. Shisheng. F***CK. I was scared to death. Chu Miao saw that Shisheng was awake, and quickly put her head back. You're awake. You almost died. Shouldn't you be happy if I died? Shisheng propped himself up. This body was too weak. It couldn't even withstand that little bit of cold. No matter how strong she was, it was useless if her body couldn't keep up. She still had to kneel. Host, this is just the body of an ordinary girl. Guiyu is the Ghost King. It's already a miracle that you're not dead. The system complained in disdain. Did the system think that this girl's body was made of iron? Chu Miao bit her lip. Her voice was soft. What your father did has nothing to do with you. I just couldn't accept it before. I know that Jifeng didn't treat you well, so I couldn't get you involved. Very good. The female lead was just so kind. Only when she suffered losses did she realize that she was as stupid as a pig. But I can't forgive you. After all, you're Jifeng's daughter. Chu Miao suddenly changed the topic. Shisheng looked at Chu Miao strangely. Chu Miao smiled. So let's pretend that we never met. Chapter 893. Chu Miao left as soon as she finished speaking. Shisheng was a little confused. This female lead was not following the script. Shouldn't she have said, "Let's reacquaint ourselves with these lines"? Why did she leave just like that? Shisheng did not know how he arrived at the hospital. Later, he heard from the nurse that someone had made an emergency call. As for who made the call, he did not know. When he arrived at the hospital, he found her lying on the bed, half dead. "Miss G, this is the bill for these few days. We could not contact your family, so the hospital paid for you. Now that you are awake, you can contact your family and settle the bill." The head nurse handed a list to Shisheng. Shisheng. He was so poor that he had to eat dirt. How could he have the money to pay the bill? Okay, I will contact them. Shisheng took the bill calmly. When the head nurse left, Shisheng's smile immediately disappeared. He gritted his teeth and began to curse Guiyu's family. Every time he met her, he was unlucky. Every time, he was unlucky. Shisheng looked at the amount on the bill and frowned. He had never thought that one day he would be so poor that he did not even have the money to see a doctor. How infuriating. The host did not have many friends, so it was impossible for her to borrow money. As for whether the Ji family had relatives or friends, the host did not know at all. Jifeng had never taken the host to meet any relatives, and no one had ever come to the house. So how could she get money now? Fortunately, he had his phone with him. Shisheng took out his phone and found a number. He thought for a while, and called the number. When he was so poor that he had to eat dirt, he could only rely on his savings. Shisheng sold some things in the space and finally settled the bill. The doctor came to check on her. Shisheng asked directly, "Can I leave the hospital now?" She wanted to find that idiot Guiyu to settle the bill. The doctor looked at the case. "You are still very weak. You have to stay in the hospital." "How weak?" "According to your condition, it will be difficult for you to walk." The doctor did not know if he was exaggerating to scare Shisheng. Shisheng didn't believe it, and immediately tried to get off the bed. However, his legs felt weak the moment they touched the ground. The doctor reached out to support Shisheng. "Now you know that I wasn't just scaring you?" Shisheng was speechless. "It was just a cold. Was it necessary to be so upset?" "System, I request a change of body. Do you think this is a game where you can change your avatar whenever you want? Retarded host? Where are your family members?" The doctor asked again. "No family." The doctor glanced at Shisheng and reminded him, "Be careful. There's a bell over there. Call the nurse if anything happens." Life in the hospital wasn't easy at all. They couldn't eat or drink well, and they couldn't even sleep well. In the middle of the night, there was always the sound of people walking in the hospital corridor. Shisheng called the nurse twice, but the nurse told her that there was no one outside. She wondered if she had misheard. The nurse looked so confident that Shisheng thought he had misheard her. However, she was certain that she did not hear wrongly. There were indeed people walking around outside. The next day, Shisheng found out the name of the hospital he was staying in. It was the F*King Hospital, where the news said that someone had jumped off the building. "Oh my God, who the hell sent I to this hospital? Come out. I promise not to beat you to death. Discharge. I must be discharged." Shisheng was about to press the bell when the door was suddenly pushed open. An unfamiliar boy appeared at the door. Shisheng thought that he had entered the wrong room. However, the boy walked directly towards Shisheng. Shisheng stared at him. What was he doing? The boy stopped in front of Shisheng. "I can hug you now." "Yexim." Shisheng's eyes turned. He asked tentatively, "Guiyu?" The boy pursed his lips and nodded. "What the F*ck? What the F*ck? Where did he get his body fixed? Where did you get this outfit?" "The hospital." Guiyu tilted her head. "Don't you like it? I can change into another one." Guiyu was about to leave. You've been waiting for so long. Stop right there, Guiyu. Shisheng shouted. Guiyu obediently stopped. She turned to look at Shisheng. Shisheng's chest rose and fell rapidly. You return this body to me. Why? Guiyu did not understand. I won't hurt you if I use someone else's body. Although a human body would still be a little cold, it would not hurt her directly like it did when he used his own body. He thought for a long time before coming up with this idea. But this is someone else's body. Shisheng gritted his teeth. Someone else's body. Who knew what the original owner had done? The system thought that Shisheng had some conscience. Who knew that her focus was on this? Indeed, it could not expect too much from a scumbag host. You don't like it? No. I like it. I like it. Shisheng gritted his teeth. Oh. Guiyu lowered her head. Hurry up and return it to me. Shisheng pointed outside. Guiyu looked up and glanced at Shisheng. Can I accompany you? Accompany your ass. Shisheng glared fiercely at Guiyu. If it were not for the fact that I's body was weak, he would have jumped up and beat this idiot to death. Guiyu looked at him innocently with an unfamiliar face. In the end, Guiyu returned the body to him. He floated in through the door. He put on a new black robe and stood beside Shisheng's bed. I'm sorry. I didn't expect to cause you so much harm. Are you angry? Why aren't you talking? Shisheng's temples throbbed with pain. She really wanted to strangle him. Really. She just wanted to sleep peacefully. Why was it so difficult? Shisheng could not take it anymore. Shut up. Otherwise, get out. Oh. Guiyu immediately shut his mouth and didn't speak anymore. But he continued to stare fixedly at Shisheng, killing intent occasionally flashing in his eyes. It'd be strange if Shisheng could fall asleep. Sleep my ass. I wanted to be discharged. Shisheng remembered what he had to do. He immediately rang the bell and asked the nurse to help him with the discharge procedures. The nurse could not force Shisheng to stay. She could only help him with the discharge procedures. Shisheng immediately packed up and left. Shisheng's body was still weak after a full day of 4 drips. When he got off the bed, his legs were weak and his body was unstable. He fell forward. Guiyu instinctively supported him. Shisheng shuddered but did not push him away. She had to get used to it. Otherwise, how could they get along in the future? Shisheng gritted his teeth and endured the chill. Take me out of here. Guiyu was like a child who had been rewarded. Okay. Guiyu did not know what method she used. The people around her could not even see her. She helped Shisheng down the stairs. When they were leaving the inpatient department, Shisheng suddenly felt a heavy object fall in front of him. Warm liquid splashed on her hand. The viscous liquid slid down the back of her hand and dripped onto the snow-white floor. In an instant, the floor was dyed blood red, like a blooming red plum. Under the dark sky, snowflakes swirled and fell from the sky. The entire world seemed to be left with only the rustling sound. ## today's soda-flavored ticket #. Chapter 894. Guiyu took a few steps back with Shisheng. He covered Shisheng's eyes and used his body to block the body on the ground. Shisheng was not disgusted by the body, but by the blood on her hands. Guiyu took Shisheng and quickly left the crime scene. They landed in the garden behind the hospital. Guiyu placed Shisheng on a chair and knelt down on one knee. He held Shisheng's hand and used a clean handkerchief to wipe the blood off her hand. After wiping it a few more times with water, he held Shisheng's hand and looked up at him. It's clean now, he said. Shisheng sniffed. Shisheng sneezed a few times. The tip of his nose was red, itchy and uncomfortable. Guiyu seemed to have been awakened. He let go of Shisheng's hand. Did I make you uncomfortable again? He was so happy just now that he had forgotten what he had done to her. Shisheng sniffed again. It's nothing. Really? Shisheng glared at him. It's fake. He might as well strangle him and see him in the next world. Guiyu did not dare to speak. He was afraid that Shisheng would chase him away. The person who jumped to her death was a girl who looked to be about 17 or 18 years old. She had come to the hospital for an abortion, but suddenly disappeared 10 minutes before the surgery. When she was found again, she was in the cold snow. The girl's parents did not know that she had come to the hospital. They only found out that their daughter was pregnant when they received a call from the police. But now that she was gone, there was no point in pursuing this matter. The girl's friends did not know that she was pregnant. The hospital also said that the girl came alone. Although she did not look well, she was not so depressed that she wanted to jump off the building. Who would have thought that in less than 10 minutes, the person would disappear just like that? The girl's family made a scene at the hospital and demanded an explanation. Similar incidents had happened at the hospital before. The media was very concerned and felt that there was something wrong with the hospital. They blocked the entrance of the hospital all day long. Otherwise, why would a normal person suddenly jump off a building? The hospital was in a difficult position. They did not do anything. Who knew why these people would jump off a building at the hospital? Shisheng had already left the hospital, and Guiyu brought her to a villa. The villa was a little old, and many things were from the previous era. However, it was very clean, as if it was often cleaned. Guiyu pushed open the door of the villa and announced very seriously, "This will be our home from now on, just you and me." Shisheng always felt that Guiyu's words had some other meaning. But no matter if they were separated or connected, there was no problem with this sentence. "I'll take you to your room." Guiyu lowered her hood, and the corners of her mouth curled up slightly. "You'll like it." Shisheng looked at Guiyu suspiciously. Guiyu brought Shisheng upstairs. There were several rooms on the second floor. Guiyu brought Shisheng to the last room. The room was very big, but the decorations were very modern. But why does this furniture look so familiar? Shisheng thought of the furniture that had mysteriously disappeared next door to the house he had bought. No matter how he looked at it, it was the same. "Do you like it?" "Hee. Like your grandpa. These things were taken from someone else's place." Guiyu tilted her head. "You don't like it? Then let's change to another room." Guiyu left the room and walked to another one. The style inside was completely different. "You don't like it?" And, after looking through all the rooms, Shisheng was speechless for a long time. After a while he said, "How many houses did you steal?" "I didn't steal." Guiyu shook her head. "I bought them." "You're a ghost and you have money. Did you buy them with money from the underworld?" "I'm using your money." "What did you say?" She seemed to have heard wrongly that Guiyu used her money. Guiyu answered matter-of-factly, "I used your money." "You took the money from my card?" Shisheng squeezed the words out from between his teeth. Guiyu tilted her head and asked innocently, "Isn't your things mine?" F***ck. Who allowed you to act cute? Shisheng dragged his sick body and gave Guiyu a beating. This kind of person deserved a beating. She actually dared to embezzle her savings without telling her. She was almost detained in the hospital because of her. She always thought that it was that idiot Mubai who did it, but who knew that it was actually this idiot who did it? Was this the so-called? No matter how hard one tries to guard against a thief in the house, it is hard to guard against a thief in the house. Were you the one who caused me to be rejected everywhere when I rented a house? Shisheng grabbed Guiyu's collar and stared at her with a sinister expression. "I wanted you to live with me. What's wrong with that?" Guiyu raised her head and seemed to be very proud. "What's wrong with that? You want to live with I, so you let I have no home to return to? Who the F***ck taught you the strategy?" Shisheng wanted to strangle her to death. He was so angry that he beat Guiyu up again. Guiyu did not fight back and let him beat her up. She even asked considerately, "Does your hand hurt?" Shisheng's anger dissipated instantly. He threw her away and sat on the ground. She was so angry. Guiyu stood up as if nothing had happened and said worriedly, "The ground is cold. Don't sit on the ground." Shisheng glared at her fiercely. Guiyu shrank back and felt a little wronged. "I have so much money. Have you used it all?" Her cards added up to at least 10 million. It was impossible for him to buy all these things. Unexpectedly, Guiyu nodded seriously. "Yes." Shisheng. "Who gave you the face to admit it so shamelessly?" "I can't use my money." Guiyu took out a card from her pocket and handed it to Shisheng. She held it in front of Shisheng to please him. "I have a lot of money. Don't be angry. I'll give it all to you. Shisheng had never seen the card before. It had a gray background and the words Bank of the Afterlife were printed in the middle. Below it was a string of numbers. It was probably the card number. Was this a bank card from the underworld? The underworld was so advanced now. They even knew how to swipe cards. Bah. That was not the point. The currency of the human world and the underworld could not be exchanged. What was the point of giving it to I? I was not a ghost. Flip's table. Guiyu probably knew that she was angry that she had misappropriated Shisheng's money. She did not dare to provoke Shisheng anymore. She would do whatever Shisheng asked her to do. Are you hungry? Guiyu stood beside Shisheng and watched her play the game. You haven't recovered yet. Don't play too much. Guiyu met Shisheng's warning gaze. His words were stuck in his throat. I'll make something for you to eat. He turned and left the room. A few seconds later, he came back. What do you like to eat? Anything. There's no such dish. He had never seen this dish in the menu. Shisheng finished off the last boss in the game and received the reward for clearing it. Only then did she look at Guiyu, her lips lifting. I like everything you make. Guiyu's eyes lit up. Really? Does that mean you like me and are willing to be with me? Shisheng. Suddenly, he did not want to tease her anymore. I don't really understand why you guys said that Wu Lixing's brain was dead. Chapter 895. Guiyu was very stubborn. If Shisheng didn't tell him the name of the dish, he wouldn't cook it. Fengxi's personality had changed in a single world, and he was getting weirder and weirder. If this continued, she would abandon him sooner or later. Alright, it was just a thought. If she really wanted to abandon him, she really couldn't do it. Guiyu was a ghost. Shisheng didn't really understand why he knew how to cook. Although the taste wasn't particularly good, compared to her, it was at the level of a god. The host who can never master her culinary skills. Guiyu didn't need to eat. He just watched Shisheng eat. That burning gaze made it seem like Shisheng was a dish, and he wanted to tear her apart and swallow her whole. Shisheng finished his food in 2 or 3 bites and went back to playing the game. Guiyu consciously tidied up the dishes. Probably afraid that Shisheng would run away, he purposely moved her outside the kitchen. Shisheng was recuperating in the villa. Guiyu didn't allow her to go out at all. At first, she thought that this guy wanted her to recuperate, but later she realized that this guy was secretly imprisoning her. At this moment, Shisheng finally realized what was wrong with what he said at the beginning. Guiyu tidied up his things and walked in front of Shisheng. He bent down to hug her. Shisheng hurriedly reached out to block him. Don't touch me. She didn't want to become a popsicle, and she didn't want him to hug her right now. How dare you imprison me? If I don't punish you for 3 days, you'll become a troublemaker. Guiyu put down his hand in disappointment, a hint of grievance appearing in his eyes. Do you hate me? Shisheng. He was being unreasonable again. I might have met the female lead. What should I do? Waiting online, it's urgent. No. Shisheng looked at Guiyu. I don't hate you. Then let me hug you for a while. Just a while, it'll be quick. I won't let you feel cold. Guiyu was insatiable. He liked the smell of her body. He liked her body temperature. He liked her. He liked everything about her. Shisheng frowned slightly. Just a while. Guiyu's lips curved upwards. Only her figure remained in his clear eyes. It was as if she was the only person in his world. She was his entire world. Guiyu reached out and pulled Shisheng into his embrace. After about a second, he released her. Although he really wanted to hold her in his embrace, he was more worried that her body would not be able to take it. Guiyu squatted down and said word by word. I like you very much. I want to be with you. No matter if you are willing or not, you cannot leave me. Do you understand? Shisheng hung up his phone and said, What if I say I don't want to? Guiyu's eyes darkened, her voice low. Then let's disappear together. He stood up and turned to leave. His tone was firm. I won't let you go, so don't even think about leaving me. Guiyu's heart was trembling. He had thought that she had accepted him, but in the end, it was just a misconception. There was no sound behind him. Every step he took felt like torture. She must be angry. If he apologized now, would she forgive him? The more Guiyu thought, the more panicked he became. He stopped in his tracks and froze in place for a while before slowly turning around. Just as he turned around, someone hugged him. A familiar scent soothed his panic. He heard her say, "I'm willing." Just a moment ago, the world was covered in thorns and snow. In an instant, spring flowers bloomed. Shisheng let go of Guiyu and rubbed the cold goosebumps on his arms. "But it's impossible for you to make a golden cage for me. Of course, if you want to stay in the throne room I built for you, I will welcome it." She could pamper him and give him everything, but he could not control himself. This was something she would not allow, and it definitely could not appear. "This way, you will be together with me, right?" Guiyu blinked, asking seriously. Shisheng nodded slightly. "Okay, I'm willing." Guiyu's eyes curved slightly, a faint smile on her face. That smile was enough to bewitch all living things, including their lives. "Maybe one day you will regret it. I believe that day will not come." There was no use in regretting it. He had boarded a pirate ship. How could he get off so easily? Not even if he died. Shisheng was isolated by Guiyu for a few days. The hospital incident had already passed the heated discussion period. The hospital did not want to blow up the matter and continue to attract criticism for the hospital. They could only take the blame and compensate the girl's parents with a sum of money for no reason. As the saying goes, money makes the world go round. After the girl's parents received the money, they did not continue to cause trouble at the hospital. With no one causing trouble, the media naturally stopped paying attention. The heat gradually died down. That hospital. Guiyu saw Shisheng reading the news about the hospital and whispered, "There's something strange in there." What strange thing? "I can't tell." Guiyu frowned slightly. "But it's not something good." Shisheng rolled his eyes at Guiyu. She was talking nonsense. "You're interested? I can catch that thing for you to play with." Guiyu looked at Shisheng fawningly. "Catch for me to play with?" Shisheng was speechless. As a fair-skinned and beautiful girl, why would she play with something of unknown origin? And as a boyfriend, is this what you do? Catch something strange for your girlfriend to play with? Damn idiot. Indeed, you don't know how to play with it. You only know how to hack it to death. If you don't like it, I won't catch it. Guiyu was very good at reading people's expressions. When she saw that Shisheng's expression was not right, she immediately changed her words. Shisheng put away the things and stood up. "I'm going out for a while." "Where are you going?" Guiyu followed Shisheng. "To buy things. I want to go too." Shisheng. Thinking about how strange Guiyu was spending money, Shisheng felt that he had to hold on to his bank card tightly in the future. If he continued to spend money like this, she would have to eat dirt every minute. Shisheng was directly taken away from the hospital by Guiyu. He had space to change clothes, but not underwear. She could only buy underwear. The underwear section was very big. Guiyu followed Shisheng in and swept his gaze calmly across the circle of underwear. He directly picked up a piece of underwear and handed it to Shisheng. "This looks good." Shisheng. "Damn idiot." Shisheng hurriedly snatched the underwear from his hand. "Don't touch anything." He was King invisible, but the underwear was not. To an outsider, it looked like the underwear had suddenly floated up. "You don't like that kind?" Guiyu did not listen to him at all. He floated to the other side and asked, "What about this?" The salesperson over there had already noticed that there were people here. She put down the things in her hands and looked over. Suddenly, she saw an underwear floating in the air and screamed, "Ah!" Everyone in the shop surrounded her. "What's wrong?" "Over there. The underwear over there is flying." "Ah. What underwear is flying? What are you talking about?" The others looked in the direction the salesperson was pointing. They only saw a lady choosing underwear. There was no underwear flying. "Where did you go last night? Are you still not awake yet? Don't scream. It'll be bad if you scare the customers and they complain." The salesperson looked in Shisheng's direction and rubbed her eyes. She was puzzled. Was she seeing things? Chapter 896. Shisheng didn't dare to delay, and casually picked 2 items for the bill. Guiyu stood outside after being glared at by Shisheng. He hung his head like a child who had done something wrong. A couple walked past him. Guiyu tilted his head and looked at their backs. No one knew what he was thinking. When Shisheng came out, he immediately retracted his gaze and floated forward. Did I make you angry again? You're a ghost. If you touch these things, you'll scare others and attract attention. Do you understand? Guiyu tilted his head and pointed at a couple in the distance. Then if I let them see me, can I go shopping with you like they do? What was this idiot up to now? Didn't you say you'd only show it to me? She definitely couldn't let him do anything. Guiyu looked at the couple and then at Shisheng. He was a little conflicted. But I want to be like them. As long as he let others see him, he could help her carry things, pick things for her, and do many things for her openly. As a ghost, he should act like one. Why did he have to learn from others? Shisheng's eyes turned. You have to take off your black robe. When Guiyu took off his black robe, he immediately cowered. He said in a small voice, I'd better stay like this. I'll only show it to you. Good boy. Guiyu was a little depressed. With Shisheng's comforting words, he gradually calmed down. Shisheng returned to the villa and saw Chu Miao from afar. She was squatting outside the villa, her white dress spread out. A line popped up in Shisheng's mind. What a white lotus! A strange ghost appeared. Guiyu's body surged with hostility. He raised his hand and waved at Chu Miao. Chu Miao didn't even have time to look up before her body flew out. Ji Luiying! Chu Miao screamed in horror. Guiyu seemed to want to kill Chu Miao. His palms moved outwards and slowly closed. Chu Miao curled up in discomfort. Her body began to flicker. Ji Luiying! Chu Miao's voice was scattered in the wind. She only called her name, and didn't say anything else. Shisheng reached out and pressed down on Guiyu's hand. Guiyu looked at him. Her eyes under the hood were full of murderous intent. When she touched Shisheng, it receded like the tide. Stop. Why? Guiyu did not understand. She trespassed on my territory. I should kill her. Shisheng. She's the female lead. Is he someone you can kill just because you want to? Shisheng stared at Guiyu without saying a word. Guiyu did not stop and looked at Shisheng. In the distance, Chu Miao wanted to curse. What were they doing? Are you going to kill me or not? Can't you be more straightforward? In the end, Guiyu compromised. She withdrew her hands into her black robes, a bit unhappy. I want a hug. Shisheng gave her a hug and said, let's go inside. Oh. Guiyu glanced at Chu Miao, who was lying on the ground, and dawdled into the villa. Shisheng walked to Chu Miao. Didn't you say you wanted to be strangers? Why are you looking for me? Chu Miao's face was pale. I don't know who to look for. She was the only person he could think of. How did you find me? Although this place was not particularly remote, it was still not somewhere she could find, not to mention that there was a ghost king here. Chu Miao wiped her face with her sleeve and sat up. I heard it from Li Qingyan. Li Qingyan? How did the male lead know she was here? Was he trying to cause trouble? Let's talk inside. Shisheng walked towards the villa. Chu Miao stood up shakily. She was a bit afraid of the villa, but thinking about her own situation, she gritted her teeth and followed Shisheng inside. Guiyu was already in the kitchen preparing something. Chu Miao smelled a delicious aroma as soon as she entered. Her surprise immediately overshadowed her fear. She actually saw this ghost in the kitchen? Was she seeing things? Chu Miao blinked hard. No matter how she looked, up and down, it proved that she was not seeing things. This ghost she was a bit afraid of was really preparing food in the kitchen. You and him? Chu Miao floated to the opposite side of Shisheng and pointed in the direction of the kitchen. Don't ask what you shouldn't ask. Shisheng glanced at her lightly. Chu Miao's lips moved. She suppressed her curiosity. Side mission. Eliminate the evil and protect the good. The system's voice suddenly sounded. What the hell was eliminating the evil and protect the good? The key clue is on Chu Miao. Host, please explore on your own. You cannot refuse the mission. If the host refuses, the system has the right to forcibly transfer Feng Ci away. Shisheng. Why don't you go to heaven? I don't dare. The host has been in heaven for a long time. That's right. It was such a coward system. Who told it to be a left-behind child? Shisheng collected his emotions. He raised his eyebrows and looked at Chu Miao. Tell me. What do you want from me? Chu Miao hesitated for a moment, then slowly told him. After she left the ward that day, she met a woman in the hospital. That woman could also see her. She claimed to be her mother. Chu Miao lived with her brother Chu Jing since she was young. She had never seen her parents. When she was young, she also asked, but Chu Jing did not answer. Once, when she asked too much, Chu Jing told her that their parents were dead. This time, she suddenly met a woman and told her that she was her mother. That year, she had no choice but to entrust her to a friend, who knew that that friend would also die one after another. She went to look for her, but she could not find her. Only now did she know that her mother was dead. Chu Miao was skeptical. At first, she did not believe the woman, but later, the woman told her some of the characteristics of her body. One of the characteristics was very hidden. Only those who were close to her knew about it. Moreover, she did look similar to the woman, but Chu Miao did not believe her completely. It was not until the woman got her hair from Chu Jing and took it to do a DNA test that Chu Miao completely believed her. The woman asked Chu Miao how she died. Chu Miao did not know, so she could not answer this question. The woman was very concerned about the cause of her death. She kept asking Chu Miao to remember how she died. At first, Chu Miao thought that the woman only cared about her. Later, she realized that was not the case. The woman was in contact with Li Qingyun. Chu Miao saw the woman meet with Li Qingyun with her own eyes. It was also at that time that she heard them talking about Shisheng. When she heard the address, she subconsciously remembered it. Li Qingyun had always wanted to use her. Chu Miao knew in her heart that Li Qingyun wanted to use her. Now that she found out that her mother was in contact with a man who wanted to use her, Chu Miao began to be wary of the woman. Not long ago, the woman began to give her strange things to drink. She said that it could help her recover her lost memories. Chu Miao naturally did not dare to drink it. Once, she was caught by the woman when she was stealing something. Although she managed to cover up her lie, the woman began to monitor her. Every time, she would watch her drink the things with her own eyes. Those things did not smell tasty. They tasted bitter, but she did not feel anything after drinking them. At first, Chu Miao was relieved. However, as she drank more and more, she found that she began to forget things. Chapter 897. After Chu Miao realized this, she felt that she couldn't stay here any longer. She ran out when the woman wasn't here. When she didn't know what to do, she remembered the address Li Qingyun told her. That was why she came here. So, a woman who claimed to be your mother joined forces with Li Qingyun to harm you? Shisheng concluded. What was the male lead trying to do? Did he become evil because he couldn't get the female lead? Chu Miao sat on the sofa dispiritedly. She said in a low voice, When I found out she was my mother, I was very happy. Everyone longed for a mother's love. She longed for it too. So, when you found out that she had other plans for you, did you hope that she had other difficulties, or did you think that she wanted to harm you? Shisheng's voice was somewhat malicious. Chu Miao shook her head and said in pain, I don't know. I don't know. What are you going to do now? Chu Miao still shook her head. If she had a way, she wouldn't have come to her. She was probably desperate. Chu Miao didn't know why she thought of her at that time. Her intuition told her that she would have a way. After all, she had never seen her panic. She was always so calm and collected, as if nothing was a problem in her eyes. Shisheng thought about the side mission of eliminating evil and protecting justice. He rubbed his forehead in annoyance. You really don't remember how you died. The female lead died for no reason. There must be a reason. And the reason was very important. Usually it was related to the end of the story. The story she received was the simplified version. Things like this wouldn't be hinted in the story. Chu Miao frowned as if she was thinking hard. I don't know. How did she die? Why couldn't she remember anything? Shisheng thought about it, and asked in a different way. How much do you remember before you became like this? Chu Miao covered her head and said slowly, I remember. It was my birthday. Yes, my birthday. My brother celebrated my birthday with me. I think. I drank a lot of alcohol. There were a lot of people. It was very noisy. After that, I don't remember. When I regained consciousness, I was already like this. Chu Miao shook her head. She couldn't understand what happened that day. Those memories seemed to be very far away from her. Time to eat. Guiyu came back with a few dishes and called out to Shisheng. Probably because Chu Miao was here, he did not take off his black robe. Chu Miao didn't need to eat, so she sat alone on the sofa struggling. Guiyu accompanied Shisheng to eat, and of course watched her eat the whole time. I won't allow her to stay here. Guiyu saw that the Shisheng was almost done eating, and only then did she open her mouth to express her opinion. Allowing this woman to step into her territory was already the biggest concession she could make. Shisheng rolled his eyes at him. I didn't plan to let her stay here either. Who would dare to casually take in a female lead Darren, especially this kind of female lead who has a big plot? Only then was Guiyu satisfied. Are you full yet? Do you want to eat some more? Shisheng put down his chopsticks and burped. Do you think I'm raising a pig? And if you're a little fatter, I'll be able to hug you a little longer. Guiyu nodded seriously. Shisheng was confused. What kind of theory is that? Guiyu answered honestly. The internet says that fat is more resistant to the cold. Shisheng really wanted to slap this idiot to death. Was that a normal cold? No amount of fat would be able to stop it. Don't read those deceptive things. Guiyu frowned. Can't I? But didn't the people on the internet say that it was very useful? Shisheng didn't want to discuss this kind of academic problem with him. Go wash the dishes. Go wash the dishes. Chu Miao gave too little useful information, so Shisheng couldn't analyze anything. He could only drive Chu Miao out and let her think about it. Chu Miao stood outside the door confused. Did she drive her out just like that? Chu Miao had seen Shisheng's tricks, and there was also a ghost inside that she was very afraid of. She didn't dare to go anywhere. But Chu Miao didn't dare to leave the villa, so she could only squat at the door. Chu Miao tried hard to recall what had happened that day. Time passed unknowingly, and the temperature in the second half of the night dropped sharply. Chu Miao rubbed her arms. Why was it so cold? No, she didn't feel cold. Chu Miao's dazed mind immediately cleared. She stood up and looked into the darkness. The lights outside the villa formed a hazy arc around the small world. The darkness was eroding the dim light. What was that? Chu Miao instinctively ran into the villa. When she turned around, she bumped into the door. Just like before, she couldn't get in. The darkness was eroding faster and faster. In the blink of an eye, it had reached the bottom of the stairs. Other than the lights on the door, there was no other light. It was as dark as ink in the distance. Jiluing, Jiluing. Chu Miao screamed at the top of her lungs. The darkness had climbed up the stairs. Chu Miao could feel the coldness getting colder and colder, and a panic rising from the depths of her heart. Jiluing. Chu Miao's voice was trembling. In the darkness, her voice sounded shrill and thin. It was very eerie. Are you calling a ghost in the middle of the night? The door of the villa was pulled open. Shisheng stood at the door. He glanced at the darkness outside and snorted. Is this enough to scare you? How could the heroine of a supernatural novel not be scared? Chu Miao pointed at the darkness that was getting closer and closer. Her fingers trembled. This. You call this a little? Shisheng rolled his eyes and walked out of the villa. The iron sword appeared with a whoosh and stabbed into the ground. A gust of air rippled from the ground. The darkness that was still climbing up the stairs retreated like the tide when the air rippled past. Chu Miao gaped at the sword in Shisheng's hand. This wasn't the first time she had seen this sword, but she didn't have time to look at it closely. She didn't know what it was used for. Chu Miao swallowed with difficulty. What is that? How would I know? Shisheng put away the iron sword. Chu Miao. Then what do you mean by being so confident? Shisheng looked into the darkness in the distance before suddenly walking down the stairs. Don't go. Guiyu appeared in front of Shisheng out of thin air, blocking her way. It's dangerous. You can either go together or stay here. Sheng's tone was calm. Which one do you choose? Go together. Actually, he wanted her to stay here, but considering her temper, that was impossible. So they could only go together. Looking at Guiyu and Sheng's backs, Chu Miao felt a chill in the air. She quickly chased after them. It was better to have someone with her than to be alone. Chapter 898. Along the tree-lined path outside the villa, Sheng and Guiyu walked leisurely as if they were taking a stroll. This was the only villa nearby. They had to walk out of this path to reach the other villa areas. Chu Miao followed behind them. She felt that the swaying branches were like monsters that were ready to kill them. Rustle, rustle, rustle. The night wind rustled the branches and the leaves rubbed against each other. Chu Miao heard the rustling sound again and again, which made her scalp tingle. The people in front of them suddenly stopped. Guiyu seemed to say something to Sheng. Sheng said disdainfully, took out the iron sword and waved it around. Large patches of trees began to collapse without any order. Chu Miao was almost hurt by the sword chi. She managed to avoid the sword chi with great difficulty, but she was faced with falling trees. She subconsciously dodged them. When the trees passed through her body, she realized that she was a ghost and did not need to avoid these things. But when there was danger, no matter if it was a human or a ghost, they would subconsciously avoid it. As the trees fell, a black shadow was forced out. It was a very small shadow. Under the dim light, it twisted a few times and gradually formed a shape. It jumped a few times in the air and landed on a tree stump. Meow, the cat meowed. Its green eyes stared straight at Sheng. It's you. Sheng frowned. Why did this thing come out? Meow, the black cat meowed again. After a moment, a hoarse male voice sounded. I have to thank you. Otherwise, I would not have been able to come out. You came to make trouble for I in the middle of the night. This is your thank you gift? Sheng raised his eyebrows. The black cat licked its paws. I'm not here to make trouble for you. I don't want to be your enemy. I'm here for her. Sheng looked in the direction the black cat was looking. It was Chu Miao standing there. Sheng stabbed the iron sword into the ground and said arrogantly, You're the one who was suppressed in the Chu village? The enchantment in Chu family village only allowed outsiders to enter but not exit. However, the descendants of the Chu family could enter and leave as they pleased. At first, she had thought that it was a protective enchantment. However, when she saw the black cat and sensed the faintly discernible evil aura in the Chu family's ancestral hall, she was certain that the Chu family village's enchantment was not meant to protect the descendants of the Chu family, but to imprison them. If not for those people's tricks, I wouldn't have been suppressed in that place. The black cat's voice was filled with disdain. It doesn't matter if you cheated or not. You were suppressed by someone, so you still lost. Black cat seemed to have been hit in its Achilles heel as its voice grew louder. How can I lose? They are the ones who lost. Ha ha ha. As long as I kill this little girl, no one will be able to suppress me anymore. What secrets does Chu Miao have? Sheng asked directly. I can foresee the scene of the host taking a shortcut to complete the mission again. Everyone else took one step at a time, but its host always skipped the middle and went straight for the final boss. If the boss was killed, what else could the other villains do? Villains probably had a problem with talking too much, and the black cat was no exception. She is Chu Yinin's daughter. If she is dead, no one will be qualified to guard the enchantment of the Chu family village. When the time comes, it will be easy for me to come out. Sheng nodded slightly. The black cat in front of him must be the black cat in front of him. Chu Miao was a descendant of the Chu family village, and was responsible for guarding the enchantment. This was a common setting for the female lead. The black cat stared at Sheng, its voice bewitching. There's an evil aura on you. I can feel it. If you can help me, I'll give you half of my empire. How about it? Sheng sneered. Half of the country? Half of what country? Villains were all ambitious, but in the end, they were all stepping stones for the main character. The underworld. Someone wants to steal your job. Sheng turned to look at Guiyu, a little gloating. This thing was not mentioned in the plot, so it must be a side quest. Guiyu was the real ultimate villain. A side quest boss dared to say in front of the real boss that he wanted to steal his job. He was asking for a beating. The black cat only noticed Guiyu after hearing Shisheng's words. He was standing silently beside Shisheng, not emitting any aura. However, at this moment, it felt a powerful force emanating from his body, making it unable to resist the urge to submit. The Lord of the Underworld. He was the Lord of the Underworld? How was that possible? The black cat said in fear. You are Li Jian's son? Li Jian? Guiyu murmured, then snorted disdainfully. Who is he? You don't even know Li Jian? He is the Lord of the Underworld. Who are you? How dare you pretend to be the Lord of the Underworld? The black cat raised its voice, becoming neither male nor female. Oh, you are talking about him. Guiyu seemed to have realized something. He is dead. Wait. What is the relationship between Li Jian and Li Qingyuan? Shisheng interrupted. From their conversation. This Li Jian was the previous lord of the underworld. Then what about the male lead who also had the surname Li? Shisheng remembered that the plot mentioned that Li Qingyuan would become the Ghost King in the end. Why would Li Qingyuan want to become the Ghost King? Unless he wasn't human at all. How did Li Jian die? The black cat ignored Shisheng's question and questioned Guiyu with a voice that was neither male nor female. I killed him. Guiyu's tone was calm, as if it was a simple matter. How could you kill Li Jian? Impossible. The black cat didn't believe it. Then do you want him to die? Or do you not want him to die? F***ck, when this retarded cat called Li Jian, it was full of hatred. Now that it knew Li Jian was dead, it roared that it was impossible. Of course I want him to die. The black cat said fiercely, its hatred almost overflowing. But I want him to die by my hands. Then why don't you go dig up his grave and whip his corpse? Shisheng paused. But if this ghost dies, will there be a corpse? Yes, the Ghost King has a corpse. Guiyu answered seriously. That's good. You can whip the corpse. Do you want to try? As soon as Shisheng finished speaking, an angry voice interrupted. Ji Luiying. Li Qingyuan's figure quickly rushed in. As soon as he arrived, he heard this woman instigating people to dig up his father's grave. Li Qingyuan's figure landed, and a few more shadows appeared one after another in the surroundings. There was a white-haired woman, and on the other side was Li He's people. The current situation was, the black cat was surrounded in the middle. Shisheng and Guiyu stood directly in front of the black cat. Chu Miao stood to the side of the black cat, and Li Qingyuan stood behind the black cat. The white-haired woman and Li He stood on either side of Li Qingyuan. The night wind quietly stopped, and the surroundings were silent. A mocking voice broke the eerie silence. Everyone's here. The meeting is about to begin. Everyone's gaze focused on the speaker. Chapter 899. Shisheng's words were like a catalyst. It was as if the space that had been frozen by someone suddenly came alive. Everyone's attention was focused on Shisheng, as if he was a monster. Why are you looking at me? Shisheng impolitely rolled his eyes. I'm not a boss. You're scarier than a boss. The system added insult to injury. Miss Ji, why are you here? Li He stared at Shisheng, his eyes full of caution. Li He's mind was filled with questions. Why was this psychopath here? Why did he meet this psychopath? Captain, are you sure you're not secretly in love with this psychopath? As something strange seemed to have sneaked in. Shisheng sneered. Do I need to report to you where I am? Li He. This girl was poisonous. He only asked casually, and she stabbed him back. Little girl, you won't have any friends if you act like this. Fine, he didn't really want to be friends with her. Ahem. Li He coughed to cover it up. Miss Ji, we're on official business. Please don't interfere. Official business? Shisheng looked at the black cat. That's it. The black cat's gaze swept over everyone. Its glowing green eyes looked even more treacherous in this situation. It didn't show any signs of panic at the appearance of so many people. It continued to lick its paws unhurriedly. Li He's expression suddenly became serious. It's already harmed many people. This is a serious matter. Miss Ji, please don't kill innocent people for your own selfish reasons. They were following the black cat's trail. They had been monitoring it for a few days, but it escaped several times. They only discovered its identity yesterday. Today they finally found its trail. He immediately brought people to chase after it. Li He felt that this girl was definitely going to cause trouble, so he had to give her a heads up so that she wouldn't do anything rash. Oh. Shisheng responded ambiguously. Li He. So what did that, oh mean? Li He and the others were here for the black cat. Li Chengyun and the woman were here for Chu Miao. Miao Miao, come here. The woman's voice was gentle, like a mother coaxing her child. She was very patient. Miao Miao, it's very dangerous over there. Come to mommy's side quickly. This woman was indeed Chu Yinin, Chu Miao's mother. Chu Miao shook her head and floated directly to the Shisheng. As soon as she moved, the black cat moved as well. It arched its back and kicked hard with its hind legs, pouncing towards Chu Miao. Miao Miao. Chu Yinin's voice was a little sharp, mixed with fear, and she also shot out. At the same time, Li He and the others moved as well. The only ones who didn't move were Li Chengyun and Shisheng. Ever since Li Chengyun saw Guiyu, he had maintained the same posture. Under the dim light, it was impossible to see the emotions on his face. However, judging from the aura around him, he should be on the verge of going berserk. As long as there was a fuse, Li Chengyun would explode. What enmity do you have with him? Shisheng looked at Guiyu and asked very casually. It was as if the person standing in front of him wasn't a dangerous person who was about to go berserk. He had a sense of arrogance that didn't put him in his eyes. Guiyu tilted his head, a strand of silver hair peeking out from under his hood. He seemed to be thinking about how to answer Shisheng's question. After a while, he spat out 4 words. The enmity of stealing the throne. Not the enmity of killing his father? Shisheng raised his eyebrows. Li Chengyun was once the Ghost King? But the current Li Chengyun was indeed a human. So was he reincarnated? He needed to use the female lead to go back, or to recover his strength. That was pretty much how the novel was set. Guiyu shook his head and answered seriously. I didn't kill his father. Huh? Didn't you just say that Li Jian died by your hand? How come you didn't kill him? Guiyu seemed to have guessed what Shisheng was thinking. He explained softly, Li Jian didn't have any children. He's Li Jian's nephew. Shisheng. Guiyu killed Li Jian, but he didn't become the Ghost King. Instead, the male lead Li Chengyun took advantage of the loophole and beat him to it. But as the villain boss, Guiyu naturally succeeded in his counterattack. He forced Li Chengyun to reincarnate to avoid him, so that he could take the opportunity to go back and take back the Ghost King's position. It had to be said that if Li Chengyun hadn't died, the setting of this supernatural novel would have been pretty good. At least it suited the public's tastes. Whatever, I'll kill him first. Shisheng pulled out his sword and slashed at Li Chengyun without warning. Guiyu was startled by Shisheng's sudden movement. When he reacted, he immediately followed Shisheng and attacked Li Chengyun together. Li Chengyun had a human body after all. Shisheng couldn't do anything to him. But Guiyu was different. He was the Ghost King. When the Ghost King attacked, it was obvious whether or not he was strong. Guiyu flipped Li Chengyun to the ground. When he first came to the human world, his main goal was to find her. Meeting Shisheng was an accident. But he felt that this was a necessary accident. She was like another meaning to his life. She was his belief. Bah. Li Chengyun spat out the blood in his mouth. His gaze was dark as he stared at Guiyu. Guiyu, do you think you've won? Guiyu's face was hidden under his hood. The black robe swayed slightly in the wind, making a soft sound. I've given you so much time, but you're still so weak. Li Chengyun's eyes flashed with a vicious light. Guiyu, were you the one who released 100 ghosts? So what if it was me? Guiyu's voice seemed to contain a smile, but it made people's scalps tingle. So what if it wasn't me? Despicable. Li Chengyun gritted his teeth. If 100 ghosts hadn't been suddenly released, he wouldn't have been forced by Guiyu to abandon his real body and fall to his current state. But 100 ghosts had been imprisoned in the 18th layer of hell. He always felt that with Guiyu's ability at the time, it was impossible for him to release 100 ghosts. Why are you wasting words with him? Hurry up and stab him to death. Villains die from talking too much. Shisheng saw that the two were chatting and immediately egged Guiyu on. What's the point of chatting with the male lead? Talking too much is just stalling for time. If there's a chance to kill him, don't be soft-hearted. Otherwise you'll be the one to die. In Shisheng's dictionary, a secret is more important than life. Okay, I'll listen to you. Guiyu immediately responded. Her black robe drew a perfect arc in the air. Wind suddenly blew in all directions. The wind was biting cold. Wherever it blew, the leaves were directly torn to shreds. Whoosh! A black shadow shot past Shisheng. Shisheng instinctively slashed down. The iron sword missed, and the black shadow landed on Li Qingyun's body. In the blink of an eye, it sank into Li Qingyun's chest and disappeared. Li Qingyun's pupils were dyed with a green light. His body suddenly jumped up from the ground. His fingers curled into claws, and he clawed at Guiyu. This was only a feint. His goal was to leave Guiyu's range of control. So when Guiyu dodged, he immediately retreated. His body was slightly bent. His body was agile, and his landing was silent, just like a cat. Chapter 900. The white-haired woman and Li He arrived at the same time. They stared at Li Qingyun, who was in a strange position. Stupid mortals, you will pay the price for what you did today. Li Qingyun's voice became very sharp. It was hard to tell if he was a man or a woman. Black demon, don't you dare hurt the innocent. Li He angrily shouted. Hurt the innocent? Li Qingyun's expression was ferocious. Ha 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 ha, you're still as stupid as before. I will be back, and then it will be your time to die. Li Qingyun slowly retreated, and his body disappeared into the darkness. Li He wanted to chase, but was stopped by the white-haired woman. Bang! Li Qingyun's disappearing body was suddenly thrown out of the darkness and smashed into a broken tree stump. You want to leave just like that? You don't respect me at all. An arrogant voice spread out from the darkness, and a figure slowly appeared. The black cat was forced out of Li Qingyun's body by that attack. It angrily roared. I have no grudge against you. Why do you have to go against me? Shisheng thought for a moment. Get rid of evil for the people. The black cat was so angry that its body twisted. Its sharp voice pierced through the clouds. You are not that kind of person. I can feel the evil aura on your body. You were never a good person. Since you know I'm not a good person, why ask such a stupid question? Shisheng sneered. I just want you to die. Who knew what kind of trouble this thing would bring her if it was alive? Most importantly, it wanted to run away with the male lead. How could that be possible? Mia. The black cat was like a cat whose tail was stepped on. It screamed sharply, and its body tensed up. Its fur stood on end, and it shot towards Shisheng. It wanted to kill this woman. Shisheng lightly waved the iron sword in his hand. The sword energy split into four, and surrounded the black cat in an arc. The four sword energies shot into the black cat's body at the same time. Its body fell to the ground. Its eyes were wide open, and green light flashed in them. It seemed like it couldn't believe that it had died just like that. Its claws left a few scratches on the ground. I won't give up you. Before the black cat could finish its sentence, it breathed its last, and its body turned into a few wisps of black smoke. The black smoke scurried around on the ground as if it wanted to escape. Li He took a few steps forward and formed a hand seal. He stopped halfway and stared at the woman standing in front of him. Shisheng calmly sheathed his sword and glanced at Li He in disdain. With their speed, Li He would definitely be forced to run away. Miss Ji. You're welcome. Li He. Who the hell wants to thank you? Take a deep breath, take a deep breath. Don't get angry. Calm down. Li He tried to calm himself down, but his words still sounded angry. Miss Ji, if you destroy it, how are we going to get information from it? What does that have to do with me? I am not one of your people, so why should I listen to you? Miss Ji, this is not its main body. You know that once it comes out, it won't let you go. You're playing with fire. I like playing with fire. What's the point of playing a game without passion? She might as well squat and dig a hole. The girl in front of him was confident and arrogant. She had a slight smile on her face, but her eyes were calm like a deep abyss. In this kind of environment, there was something sinister about it. It was a smile from hell. Li He's scalp went numb. He couldn't help but take a step back and put some distance between him and the girl. Was she really human? Shisheng looked away and looked behind Li He. The white-haired woman and Chu Miao were gone. Li Chengyan was lying on the ground, but it was unknown whether he was dead or alive. Shisheng walked over with his sword. Li He probably knew what she was going to do, so he stopped her without saying anything. Miss Ji, this is a human. You have to take responsibility for killing people. Shisheng asked indifferently. Then you have a reason to catch me. Isn't that better? Li He. I don't know what to say. But after years of education, Li He couldn't just stand by and watch Shisheng kill people. Miss Ji, as long as I'm here, I won't let you hurt normal people. What if I have to? Then I'll arrest you for intentional homicide. You'll be locked up in prison forever. It was better to not let such a dangerous psychopath out. Shisheng raised his eyebrows in exaggerated surprise. Are you using your position to avenge private grudges? We're just protecting everyone's safety, Li He said with a serious face. Shisheng's mouth twitched. Li He felt a chill in his heart. Alarm bells went off in his head. What was this woman trying to do? Before Li He could finish his thought, there was a strange sound behind him. He turned around with a stiff face. A man in a black robe stood beside Li Qingyun. The sword in his hand was stabbed into Li Qingyun's chest. He pulled the sword out. Blood splattered onto his face. Guiyu tilted her head. Her clear voice seemed to be mixed with the smell of blood. Anyone who wants to hurt her will be killed without mercy. Li He felt cold all over, as if he had fallen into an ice cellar. It was a ghost. He didn't notice it before. Li He didn't know how long he stood in the night wind. When he came back to his senses, there was only a mess around him. The ghost and the woman were gone. Only the dead Li Chunyan was left on the ground. What just happened? He calmed himself down, took out his phone, and dialed a number. It rang 3 times before it was picked up. Captain, it ran away. They didn't catch it. The captain should be angry. Li He waited for a long time, but the expected anger didn't come. Only a calm voice came from the other side of the phone. Got it. What happened to the captain? Li He heard the voice on the other side of the phone and hurriedly said, Captain, don't hang up. I still have a situation to report. I know. The busy tone on the phone made Li He feel confused. He hadn't said anything yet. What did the captain know? Captain, when did you learn to predict the future? In a dark secret room, Chu Yinin piously prayed to the wooden tablet on the incense table. She had changed into a white robe. Her white hair was tied into a vintage bun. She looked like a beauty who had walked out of a painting. She had a classic charm. Chu Miao was tied to a chair in the corner. Her mouth was gagged. She could only make muffled sounds. After Chu Yinin finished praying, she quietly stared at the wooden tablet for a moment. A faint voice sounded in the secret room. Meow meow, we didn't have a choice. Mother is sorry. Chu Miao struggled with all her strength. Her small face was pale. Why did she have to go through all this? She just wanted to be an ordinary person and live an ordinary life. Why was it so difficult? Why did she have to be involved in all this? A long sigh sounded in the secret room. I shouldn't have given birth to you. She turned to look at the struggling Chu Miao. Meow meow, accept your fate. Accept my fate? Accept what fate? She didn't know what had happened. Why did she have to accept her fate? She didn't want it. Ask for votes T to the power of T. Chapter 901. Shisheng returned to Chu family village once again. It was amazing that she could find this place. The mountain where she was kidnapped was not far from Z City, but Chu family village was deeper into the mountain. She walked in the wrong direction and ended up in Chu family village. What are you doing here? Guiyu frowned as she looked at Chu family village. To get rid of evil for the people, Shisheng said seriously. Those who did not know him might believe him. Get rid of evil as soon as possible. The enchantment outside Chu family village was still there, but it was obviously much weaker than before. She could enter easily, but Guiyu could not. Blocked outside the enchantment, Shisheng could only cut open the enchantment to let her in. The entire village was silent. Not a single sound could be heard, and there was no sign of human habitation. The large locust tree at the entrance of the village had already withered. There were burn marks at the bottom. Looking at the burn marks, it was not long ago. After entering the village, Shisheng still did not see anyone. All the living creatures in the village had disappeared. Split up and search. Shisheng pointed at 2 forks in the road. No. Guiyu refused. I don't want to be separated from you. Shisheng. Was I taking care of a child? After thinking about it, Shisheng gave up on letting Guiyu separate. This guy would attack without saying anything. As long as you intruded into his territory, he would kill you regardless of whether it was intentional or not. Last time, Shisheng did not walk around the entire village. This time, he found that the village was actually quite big. There were winding roads everywhere. Guiyu seemed to be familiar with this place. Although Shisheng was walking in front, Guiyu could always remind her where to go so that she would not have to circle back. You've been here before? Shisheng asked suspiciously. Guiyu did not refute. Yes. You're a ghost king. What are you doing here? Hiking? Shisheng was even more suspicious. What was so special about this small village that made him come? Guiyu pursed her lips and looked at Shisheng. After a while she said, a long time ago, the Chu family was a ghost hunter family. They passed down generations and were glorious for a long time. Later on, some of the Chu family's spells could only be used by women. Men could not use them. The Chu family began to decline and finally disappeared. What does that have to do with you coming here? Guiyu's voice lowered. The place I was born in is the Chu family. Shisheng was speechless. What the hell was this? I am not a member of the Chu family. Guiyu continued. He was only born in the Chu family and had nothing to do with the Chu family. However, when he was born, an elder of the Chu family said something. Born in Chu, die in Chu. At that time, this sentence was interpreted by the Chu family to mean that he would bring disaster to the Chu family, so they threw him into the river. Whether he could survive or not depended on his own luck. Obviously he did not survive, but he did not completely disappear either. At that time, he was very young and did not remember these things at all. He only found out about it when he met a Chu clan member. And the true meaning of that sentence was him. He was born in the song and died in the song. It was not that he would bring disaster to the Chu family, but that he would die in the hands of the Chu family. In order to prevent such a thing from happening, he wanted to kill everyone in the Chu clan. However, he found that he had no way of entering the Chu clan village. He could only send Jing Mei to watch over them. So it was you. At that time, those Jing Mei had said that someone had forced them into the bodies of the dead to watch over the people in the Chu clan village. That sentence was not wrong. Although Guiyu did not die in the end, it was no different from being dead. And the female lead, Chu Miao, also played a crucial role in it. Where are your parents? Guiyu shook his head. I don't know. I heard that they left after giving birth to me. Very good, the male and female leads were not the only ones with tragic backgrounds. There was also a freaking villain. After all, only a tragic background could create 2 extreme people. Gotcha. Shisheng's gaze quickly swept to a thatched hut on the side, but Guiyu's figure had already floated over. When he floated to the corner, his figure was blocked. A few seconds later, the thatched hut collapsed. A figure flew out of the thatched grass and landed in front of Shisheng. Lihi? Shisheng reached out to stop Guiyu. Why are you here? Lihi's chest seemed to be frozen. His limbs were so stiff that he could not move them. His eyebrows and eyelashes were stained with frost. His body kept trembling. Why are you here? Why did he meet this psychopath again? Answer my question. The iron sword was pointed at Lihi's neck. The cold air from the blade resonated with the coldness in his body. A thin layer of ice began to appear on the surface of his body. He believed that if he did not answer, she would definitely kill him. Their department's mission was to prioritize survival without exposing any major information. Lihi's teeth chattered. We were ordered to pick someone up. Pick someone up? Shisheng frowned. Pick up who? Lihi gritted his teeth and answered. Chewing. Chewing? He did not know him. Kill him. Gui Yu saw Shisheng sheath his sword and suggested. Lihi. Big brother, we have no grudges. Why kill me? Even if he hated this woman before, he did not want to kill her directly. That makes sense. Shisheng nodded his head in agreement. Hey. Don't you know that it's illegal to kill people like this? I'll tell you something. In exchange, you can't kill me. Lihi raised his voice and shouted. I don't really want to know. Shisheng crossed his arms and said with a lack of interest. Lihi was stunned. How am I supposed to respond to that? Can't you act like a normal person? I just want to save my life. Seeing that Gui Yu was about to reach him, Lihi did not care about the conditions and shouted. Our captain is investigating you. Wait a minute. Gui Yu stopped. She tilted her head and looked at Shisheng. Aren't you going to kill me? Shisheng shook his head. Lihi heaved a sigh of relief. But before he could relax, he heard the girl say, I'll kill you later. Wait. Will. Kill. So she still wanted to kill him? Oh. Gui Yu stood obediently behind Lihi. As long as Shisheng said the word, she would immediately take Lihi's life. Lihi felt like there was a knife hanging over his head. The rope that held the knife was swaying, ready to break at any moment. That knife would come down on him. His back was covered in cold sweat. He swallowed with difficulty, his breathing heavy. Shisheng kicked the gravel beside his feet. Who's your captain? It's the captain. Lihi's nerves were tense. He did not dare to relax. Who knew if the ghost behind him would suddenly make a move? Shisheng glanced at Gui Yu. Lihi quickly added, We don't know what the captain's name is. That's what everyone calls him. Captain, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to betray you. He had to save his life, so he had to sacrifice the captain. You don't appear often anyway. Chapter 902. Why is he investigating me? Shisheng thought everyone looked like Mu by now. Lihi hesitated for a moment, then stammered. I suspect. Captain has a crush on you. Pfft, a crush on me? Shisheng couldn't help but laugh. She knew her temper very well. She didn't think that a normal person would have a crush on her. Lihi thought that Shisheng didn't believe him. So he continued to betray his captain to increase his credibility. I saw your information in the captain's office. Even your likes and dislikes were listed clearly. The captain even ordered us not to touch you. If this isn't a crush, then what is? If it weren't for their captain, they would have investigated this woman countless times already. If their captain didn't want them to investigate, they couldn't disobey his orders. Who knew that their captain wouldn't let them and secretly investigated her himself? He even gave such a specious order. Wasn't this making them suspicious? You still haven't given up. That captain was definitely that idiot Mu Bai. Where is your captain? I want to kill him and avenge myself in the previous world. Captain didn't come. How could their captain come over for such a small matter? Think of a way to trick him over. Shisheng paused. Forget it. With your IQ, you'll be seen through in a minute. Lihi. Was she attacking his IQ just now? Mu Bai was cunning and cautious. Normal methods wouldn't make him appear. The best method was to find him. With the foundation of the previous worlds, this guy probably wouldn't be easy to find. Kill? Gui Yu asked in an urgent voice. I already told you something so important. Why do you still want to kill me? Lihi refused to accept it. Keep him. Gui Yu was a little unhappy. Her murderous aura overflowed. She still wanted to kill Lihi. Shisheng glared at her. Gui Yu felt wronged and suppressed her murderous aura. Shisheng squatted down and looked at Lihi at the same level. How long have you been with your captain? Lihi didn't understand why Shisheng was asking this. Because of her tyrannical power, he answered honestly, more than 5 years. He used to work in another department and didn't go out into the field. He was only transferred to the captain later on. Then, do you think there's anything strange about your captain compared to before? Strange? What was so strange about it? It's just a habit. My tone and whatnot. Lihi didn't say anything. Why should he tell this woman all this? This was top secret. However, Shisheng's questions had already made Li He feel a little strange. He remembered that 3 years ago, the captain wasn't so cold and didn't have a temper. But 3 years ago, the captain seemed to have changed overnight. His entire body exuded a strange aura that said, "I'm a noble, you commoners shouldn't bother me." Furthermore, he seemed to have learned a lot of skills that he didn't know before, such as the strange method of catching ghosts, the various talismans, and even the etiquette of the rich. Every time he went on a mission related to the upper circle, the captain's performance was completely like someone who grew up in that circle, noble and elegant. They would learn some etiquette in case they needed to disguise themselves for important occasions. However, it was a little strange that the captain was born with it. Since Li He did not speak, Shisheng did not probe further and changed the topic. "Did you come here alone?" "I have 2 companions. We went separate ways." Li He subconsciously looked at his watch. "Oh no, it's almost time to meet." When they parted, they had set a time to meet under the big locust tree at the entrance of the village. Ah! A scream pierced the silence of the small mountain village. Li He's reaction was the biggest. "It's Sun Han." He got up from the ground, swayed his body, and ran in the direction of the scream. Shisheng followed behind him slowly. After passing a few winding paths, a man was lying on the ground around him. Blood stained the ground around him red. "Sun Han! Sun Han!" Li He went forward and turned the man over. His abdomen was bleeding profusely, and he was no longer breathing. In their line of work, they had long expected to die one day, but seeing his colleague die in front of him still made Li He panic. Li He's voice was hoarse. "Brother, don't worry. I will avenge you." No matter what, he would not let him go. Li He reached out and closed Sun Han's eyes. He laid him flat and lifted his clothes to check the wound on his abdomen. His abdomen was full of holes. There was no pattern, as if he had been stabbed randomly. However, Sun Han only let out a scream, which proved that he had either lost consciousness or been gagged after the attack. Li He carefully checked his body, but other than the wound on his abdomen, there were no other injuries. Just as Li He was puzzled, another scream was heard. This scream was much more mournful than the previous one, and it did not stop. Li He followed the sound and ran to the crime scene. The same person was dead. The way he died was exactly the same as Sun Han's. His abdomen was full of holes, and there were no other injuries on his body. There were no signs of anyone around. 2 deaths in a row made Li He realize the danger. "I have to report to the captain." He took out his phone, but the display showed that there was no service. There was no signal here, so there was no way to make a call. Li He fiddled with the phone for a while, but could not make a call. He could only give up. "Miss G, did you see anyone when you came in?" There were signs of people living in this village, but they had not seen anyone since they came in. The entire village was like a deserted village. "I saw them." Shisheng's expression was still relaxed. Even though 2 people had died, he did not even frown. Li He did not think that she was very calm. She was cold-blooded. She didn't care whether other people died or not. "Where are they?" Shisheng pointed at him. He was not asking about them. "Besides us, did Miss G see anyone else?" Shisheng shook his head. "No." Li He already knew the answer in his heart. He lowered his head and looked at his dead colleagues with a heavy heart. After a while he looked up. "Miss G, why did you come here?" He had asked her earlier, but she did not answer. Why did she bring a ghost to this deserted area? Most importantly, this was Chu Village. Shisheng pursed his lips. "The world is so big. I want to walk around." "The world is so big. Of all the places you could go, you just had to come here. Who would believe you?" "Miss G, we are not in a good situation now. If you know anything, please tell me." "You have to pay for information. Why should I tell you for free?" Shisheng raised his chin slightly. He was so arrogant that he wanted to strangle her and stuff her into a hole in the ground. Don't ask me when CI will counterattack. I can tell you clearly that it's impossible. There won't even be an ending. I don't want to explain this anymore, but people keep asking. Please remember, this is a story about a woman doting on a man. Don't get the theme mixed up. Chapter 903. Shisheng didn't say anything, and Li He was a little afraid of Shisheng, so he didn't dare to force him. He simply packed up the two bodies and thought about what to do next. They didn't expect to encounter such a thing when they came. They thought it was a mission to pick up people, so only 3 people came, including him. Furthermore, the Chu family was an old family with many years of history. It was beyond their expectations that such a strange thing would happen. Li He glanced at the leisurely Shisheng from the corner of his eye. Just how big is her heart? She wasn't nervous at all. Li He took a deep breath. He didn't want to be with this crazy person, so he slipped away when Shisheng wasn't looking at him. As for the 2 bodies, he could only wait for him to go out and bring someone to pick them up. Li He went back the way he came, but no matter how he went, he was always circled back. Huff huff. Li He panted with his hands on his knees. But his device didn't detect anything. This thing was so F***ing weird. Li He didn't believe it. He ran 2 more rounds, but he was always circled back. Shisheng was here to find the cat, so he didn't care if the villagers disappeared. He slowly walked toward the ancestral hall. The ancestral hall hadn't changed much. The plaque was old and cracked under the sun, and the words were distorted and blurred. The door of the ancestral hall was locked with iron chains. The wooden door was cracked, and the scenery inside could be vaguely seen through the cracks. Shisheng took out his sword and slashed down. The rusty iron chain fell to the ground with a clatter. Shisheng kicked the wooden door away, and it fell into the yard, breaking into pieces. The yard was covered with moss and gave off a damp, rotten smell. It seemed that no one had set foot here for many years. As an ancestral hall, someone would clean it and replace it with fresh offerings every few days to show respect for the deceased elders and protect the future generations. But this ancestral hall was so desolate. It was obviously haunted. Miss Ji. A sudden voice interrupted Shisheng's footsteps. Li He came back from somewhere. He was covered in mud and was so dirty that Shisheng couldn't recognize him. Miss Ji, do you know that we can't get out of this place? Li He asked the Shisheng through gritted teeth. Shisheng crossed his arms and said, I can get out, but you can't. How would I know? Li He. So are you showing off? She was definitely showing off. Li He didn't say anything. What could he say to this lunatic now? He couldn't beat her in a fight, nor could he scold her. It was better for him to follow her quietly. Maybe he could even get out of here. Although Li He felt that this idea was a little ridiculous, he had tried everything before. He had even ended up in this state, but he still couldn't leave the village. He couldn't get through to the phone, there was no sign of anyone, and 2 of his colleagues had mysteriously died. At this time, he could only place his hopes on this unhurried lunatic. At this time, the sky gradually darkened, and dusk enveloped the village. A gloomy aura invaded from all directions. Shisheng entered the ancestral hall without a change in expression. Some memorial tablets were placed in the middle of the hall. They were covered in dust and couldn't be seen clearly. These memorial tablets were probably the ancestors of the Chu family. There are quite a few people in the Chu family. Shisheng touched his chin and seemed to sigh. The Chu family is a huge family. These are all reputable seniors of the Chu family. Ordinary members of the Chu family can't even enter the ancestral hall. Li He stood outside the ancestral hall. Relying on the fact that he had insider information, he immediately boasted. After Li He finished speaking, he felt a cold gaze. He instinctively looked over and saw a ball of darkness. That icy cold gaze was like a solid substance that could stab into his heart. This ghost king Guiyu. Guiyu retracted her gaze and floated to Shisheng's side. I'm hungry. Pfft. Li He thought she was going to say something, but that was all she said. She could still think of eating at this time. This lunatic was really something. Seeing a ghost show off her cooking skills, Li He was a little stunned. Did ghosts nowadays need to be so multi-talented? Because of the limited ingredients, Guiyu only made a simple meal. Of course, there was only one portion for one person. There was no portion for Li He at all. Li He smelled the fragrance and his stomach growled. They thought they would be able to go back quickly, and didn't bring much food. They only brought the kind of biscuits that were easy to carry. So Li He could only nibble on the biscuits and watch Shisheng eat. After Shisheng finished eating, he didn't do anything. He just sat in the clean place that Guiyu had tidied up for him. Li had used up too much energy during the day, and unknowingly fell asleep. When he was woken up by a loud noise, he found himself in a sea of fire. He jumped up and ran outside. Shisheng was standing in the square outside, looking at him calmly. This vicious woman didn't even call out to him. Li looked at the raging fire. What did this woman do while he was sleeping? Shisheng was very innocent. She didn't do anything. This fire came out of nowhere, and had nothing to do with her. Jiluiying. A man's hoarse voice came from the distant horizon. Black fog curled around the horizon that was burned red by the fire. It was dancing in the air. Why are you meddling in other people's business? His voice was filled with anger. Shisheng looked up at the sky and said calmly, I'm doing a mission. If it wasn't for a mission, who would care about you? I'm very busy, okay? What mission? To kill you. The black fog engulfed the area and converged into the shape of a black cat. It landed in front of Shisheng and bared its sharp fangs. Jiluiying, this is my territory. Do you think I'll let you do as you please? That's hard to say. It's a 50-50 outcome. Arrogant. You don't like it? Come on, kill me. Shisheng provoked. So what if I'm arrogant? I'm young if I'm not arrogant. If provocation doesn't work on me. The black cat snorted. Oh, your IQ has increased this time? The black cat's fur stood on end. Jiluiying, your death is near. Just you wait. Why should I wait? I's time is precious. If you want me to wait, I'll wait. Even if your face is made of diamonds, I won't allow it. We'll have to fight to the death sooner or later anyway. Why not now? Come on. I'll call it a day if I kill you. The black cat. Who wants to fight with you now? I still have a deployment to complete. The black cat felt that the woman in front of it might really charge at it, so it slipped away. Where there's life, there's hope. Once it finished deploying everything, it would definitely torture this woman and let her know how powerful it was. The black cat wasn't in its original form, so it was easy for it to slip away. No one could catch it. Unfortunately, it didn't take Shisheng into consideration. The black cat's hidden figure was directly ejected. Asterisk little fairy. Where there's life, there's hope. If I don't vote today, I won't be able to watch it next year. Vote. Cherub. No, I'm not in the mood. Little fairy, why? Come, I'll be in a good mood after a kiss. Cherub, I didn't expect you to be such a little fairy. Little fairy. I'm such a little fairy. Chapter 904. Shisheng swung his sword coolly. The blade split open the black cat's body, and the black gas dissipated instantly. King retard. How dare you try to set I on fire? Do you think I will let you off? Even if it wasn't the real thing, killing a clone would still weaken its power. Li was dumbfounded the entire time. This woman was too fierce? She killed it with one strike? Shisheng looked at the black gas in the sky that hadn't dissipated completely. He took out a talisman from his space and threw it into the sky. The talisman ignited and turned into a ball of flame. The ball of flame was reflected in Li's eyes, dancing slightly. This thing could be used like this? He might have met a fake teacher. The flame floated in the air for a while, then suddenly flew towards the entrance of the village. Shisheng immediately chased after it. The flame passed through the village and stopped in front of the big locust tree. The withered locust tree was like a monster that was baring its fangs and brandishing its claws in the night. Shisheng was a little surprised. You hit it well. She had thought that the problem lay in the ancestral hall, but after looking around for a long time, she only felt that there was a bit of evil in the ancestral hall. But it wasn't very strong. She didn't expect that she would be wrong. The final destination was the locust tree that she saw when she entered the village. As soon as Shisheng finished speaking, the branches of the locust tree grew wildly. Green leaves appeared again, and white locust flowers hung on the branches. A strange fragrance filled the air. This is... Li's face turned pale as he stepped back. The locust tree was controlled by it? The only explanation was that it ate the essence of the locust tree. Plants could become spirits, and spirits that had cultivated to the point of consciousness would produce essence chi. Essence Qi was a great supplement for both humans and other demons who cultivated. Shisheng walked towards the locust tree without a change in expression. Guiyu wanted to grab Shisheng, but when she reached out, her hand stopped in midair. He believed in her. And it would be better if she died. Guiyu didn't think that there was anything wrong with her thinking. She could only be with him forever if she died, but she didn't want him to kill her. Are you not satisfied? Shisheng's voice broke through the creaking of the branches. It was light and gentle. There's nothing you can do about it. You're not as good as him. Hua hua hua. The branches shook even more violently, and the long branches whipped down from the sky, scattering small locust flowers in the air. In a flash, Shisheng dashed toward the roots of the big locust tree. The branches frantically tried to stop her, but Shisheng's body was nimble. She dodged through the gaps between the branches. If she couldn't dodge, she would start to chop at the branches. The big locust tree couldn't stop the Shisheng. The whole trunk began to shake, and the soil flew up, revealing the white bones under the soil that were wrapped by the roots. A foul stench assaulted his senses. Shisheng frowned in disgust. Did it kill everyone in the village to feed itself? F***ck. This was too F***king disgusting. Host, shouldn't your first reaction be cruelty? I don't think so. What did it have to do with her? She wasn't the one who killed him. Most importantly, she had to sympathize with a string of data. Wasn't that a joke? I've already said so many times that this isn't a game. Didn't I explain it clearly enough when I explained it to the host? Why is the host so stubbornly insisting that this is a game? It's really tiring to correct the host's 3 views. I want to go on strike. As the big locust tree shook, more and more corpses were flipped out. The fragrance of the locust flowers mixed with the smell of decay. It was especially unpleasant. Shisheng held her breath and chopped at the big locust tree. The iron sword chopped off the branches of the big locust tree. The branches fell to the ground, and the green color gradually faded, turning into dead branches. Swish! Shisheng swung at the center of the big locust tree. After that, she returned to Guiyu's side and buried her head in her chest. Her cool breath diluted that strange smell. There were still branches whipping at Shisheng. Guiyu raised her hand and easily caught those branches. The branches made a sizzling sound and instantly turned pitch black. They turned into dust and fell from Guiyu's hand. Crack! The big locust tree broke in the middle and crashed to the ground. Ah! A shrill scream pierced through the night, startling a flock of birds resting in the distance. The sound of fluttering wings rang out like a 3D surround sound system. The big locust tree turned into black dust. The black cat's body gradually appeared. It looked smaller than before, its fur dark. It lay dying in a pile of bones. It actually lost. No, it didn't lose. Just one more day and it would succeed. It was all that woman's fault. She ruined everything. No matter whether you succeed or not, the ending won't change. A light female voice rang out. So say goodbye to this world. So say goodbye to this world. No. Chu Yinin arrived the next day. Chu Miao followed behind her like a zombie. She hung her head, silent and expressionless. The village entrance was littered with corpses. Some had already rotted, while others hadn't. They all emitted a foul stench. There was no trace of the big locust tree. What's going on? Chu Yinin's eyes swept over the 3 people present. She was full of questions. Li He pointed at Shisheng. She did it. She did it. It had nothing to do with me. Shisheng said calmly. As you can see, I helped you kill the thing guarding it. You're welcome. Sai, I'm Lei Feng again. Black Evil Spirit. Black Evil Spirit is dead? Chu Yinin obviously didn't believe it. She was a little incoherent. Impossible. How could you kill it? If Black Evil Spirit was so easy to kill, the Chu family wouldn't just suppress it. I killed it if I wanted to. What's impossible? She couldn't even kill such a small boss. How could she talk about the Sea of Stars? This Bao Bao is a villain with ambition. Hee. Is your ambition to go against the main character for no reason? I don't know what kind of ambition this is. Don't you think it's awesome that I can kill the protagonist? I'm speechless. How could it be? Chu Yinin retreated. She suddenly turned around and ran in the direction of the ancestral hall. A few minutes later, she stumbled back. Her hair, which was neatly tied up before, was now loose. Her white hair reached her waist. In such a strange scene, it was needless to say how strange it was. How did you kill it? Chu Yining stared at Shisheng. Although she was sure that it was gone, she still didn't believe that it was this girl who killed it. Her questioning tone made Shisheng very unhappy, so she directly retorted, "It's none of your business." Chu Yining, Li He, did this lunatic eat dynamite? She was so fierce and scary. He'd better not say anything. Come vote. Vote to prove your love. Chapter 905. Shisheng finally believed that Chu Yining and Chu Miao were biological children. Chu Yining's way of speaking was exactly the same as Chu Miao's. So annoying. Chu Yining insisted that Shisheng tell her how she killed Heisha. Shisheng was a person who would only give in when he was in a good mood. After being provoked by Chu Yining, the two of them started to fight. In the end, Li He stopped Chu Yining and told her what happened. Only then did she let it go. If the two of them really fought, he would be the unlucky one. Is she really that capable? Chu Yining obviously still didn't believe it. Li He nodded. He had seen it clearly. It was her alone. Guiyu had only made a move at the very last moment. But at that time, Heisha should have been dead. Li He waited for his men to arrive. He searched the village again, and found a fainted child in a villager's house. The child was holding a bloody dagger in his hand. It should be this child who killed the two people. Li He didn't know how to describe his feelings at that moment. That child obviously didn't want to die. Could he blame him? But he had indeed killed his colleague. The people in Chu village were all dead. Only that child was left. There were still many suspicious points about this child, so he was sent back to the headquarters. Li He didn't notice when Chu Yining and Chu Miao disappeared. He only realized that they were gone when he received a call from the captain. "Captain, I'm sorry. I didn't notice, but they shouldn't have gone far. I'll send someone to look for them." Li He lowered his voice, afraid that the person on the other end of the phone would get angry. "Okay." The captain replied. "Is she still there?" "Who?" "Ji Luiying." Li He looked up and scanned the scene. He didn't see that person. He was about to answer when the phone in his hand was suddenly taken away. Li He turned around. His voice seemed to have been cut off. He opened his mouth but couldn't make a sound. Gee. Since when was she standing behind him? Did she not make any sound when she walked? Why was that ghost here too? He was still looking at me. Why did I feel that the surroundings were getting colder? Shisheng looked at the caller ID and put the phone to his ear. "Mubai, wash your neck. Wait for I to chop it off." There was a moment of silence on the other end of the phone. "We'll be waiting for you, Miss Shisheng." Beep, beep, beep. Only the busy tone remained. Damn it. How dare he hang up on I? Sidizi. In a European-style villa. A man threw the phone in his hand into the fish tank next to him. Next to the water tank was a piece of white rice paper with the words Shisheng written on it. The man stared at the two characters for a moment, then picked up a knife and cut the paper in half, cutting the two characters Shisheng in half. Buzz. "Mr. Mu." A voice came from the walkie-talkie. Mu Bai's hand that was holding the knife paused in midair. His thin lips moved slightly. "You caught him." There was some noise coming from the other side, and it seemed to be very noisy. "Caught it. Buzz. Should I send it to Mr. Mu?" "Send it over." "All right." "Shisheng, I don't believe that you'll be so lucky every time." Mu Bai continued to cut the rice paper with a dangerous smile on his face. Splash. The water in the fish tank swayed, and the frequency of the goldfish's tail swaying became slower and slower. After a few seconds it stopped moving, as if it had been fixed in place. The rice paper on the table shattered into countless pieces, drifting in the air and landing on the water surface. The stillness was broken, and the goldfish slowly floated to the surface with its belly turned white. Shisheng and Guiyu returned to the villa. Guiyu slowly took off his black robe, revealing a head of silver hair. Probably because of the cap, his hair was a little messy, and there were a few strands of hair on the top of his head. He tilted his head and looked at Shisheng. Why did you let Li He go? If she wanted to kill Li He, she would have done it long ago, but she was only threatening him and did not really do it. Killing is against the law, Shisheng answered seriously. I'm a good citizen who abides by the law. I don't do things that break the law. Then the person you killed previously. Guiyu paused, and some strange images flashed through his mind. It was too fast for him to capture. Shisheng stared at Guiyu. When did I kill anyone? Although I like to insult people, I don't go around killing people. I'm not going to take the blame for this. Guiyu frowned slightly and suppressed the strange feeling just now. The man you threw away. Threw away Jifeng? What the hell? How did he know about this? Shisheng pulled a long face. I was getting rid of an evil for the people. It's not considered killing anyone. Guiyu. If he had not seen her throwing away the corpse with his own eyes, he would have believed it. Only she would say that killing someone was getting rid of an evil for the people. How did you know about this? Shisheng changed the topic. Were you following me? Guiyu blinked innocently. I met you there, so it's not considered following you. Damn it. What was she doing in the wilderness in the middle of the night? What were you doing there? Waiting for you. Guiyu's face had a hint of a smile, and her gaze was fixed on Shisheng, full of gentleness. You knew I would appear there? Shisheng's frown deepened. She had chosen the place randomly, so how did he know? And he still said that he was not following her. Guiyu thought for a while. I didn't know, but I had a feeling that I should go there, so I went. He took a few steps closer to Shisheng, and placed one hand on the wall behind her, encircling her in a small space. His voice was slow and gentle. I knew that if I didn't go, I would regret it for the rest of my life, so I went. Guiyu lowered her head, her cheek close to Shisheng, and her cold breath enveloped him. I'm very glad that I went. To have met you. Perhaps it was because they had experienced so many worlds together that he had already formed an instinct. Perhaps it was because in this world the character of the body he was using was not very guarded in this aspect, so he easily followed his inner thoughts. Can I kiss you? What? Shisheng looked at Guiyu in confusion. Can I kiss you? Guiyu repeated seriously. Shisheng. It was so strange that someone suddenly asked to kiss her so seriously. Which other domineering CEOs didn't King do it directly? Did they need to ask for opinions? Only the female lead scenes deserved it. No. Shisheng's face darkened as he rejected. Why? Didn't you agree to be with me? Why can't we kiss? Do you not like me? Other people could kiss each other, so why couldn't he? When two people who loved each other were together, they needed to kiss. No reason. I did not have 100,000 whys. Shisheng added. It's not that I don't like you. If she said that she did not like him, this idiot would definitely kill her right here and then fly away with her. Why did my wife have such dangerous thoughts? As the saying goes, family members do not enter the same house. Host, your own thoughts are very dangerous, so what right do you have to criticize others? Guiyu pursed her lips and asked softly. Then what will it take for you to kiss me? Chapter 906. Why won't you kiss me? Shisheng rejected him. She couldn't even bear a hug now. Wouldn't she die if he kissed her? If she died, she could become a ghost, but if she died, she would be sent back directly. I don't want to die. Guiyu was very disappointed. Oh. He took the black robe and walked to the kitchen. He said in a low voice, I'll cook for you. Shisheng watched him walk to the kitchen. His eyes changed a few times. Just as his figure was about to disappear at the kitchen door, he called out, Guiyu. Guiyu paused. He didn't turn around. Is there anything you want to eat? Shisheng stepped forward. I'm not hungry. Don't cook anymore. She took out the watch from her space. Give me your hand. Only then did Guiyu raise his head. His gaze swept across the watch in her hand and landed on her face. His expression was a little confused. He rolled up his sleeves and revealed his white wrist. Shisheng put the watch on him. This is a token of our love. I won't abandon you. So don't always try to kill me secretly, okay? Guiyu's cheeks flushed. He didn't show any emotions just now. How did she know? The watch on his wrist seemed to still have her temperature. The needle jumped and the water inside swayed. The carved flowers on the bottom were crystal clear, as if they were about to come alive. Guiyu reached out to touch the surface. It was as smooth as jade. It was very familiar, as if he had touched it countless times. I don't have anything to give you. Guiyu put down his hand and said with a serious expression. I only have myself. Are you willing to take it? This idiot is teasing me again. If I say no, will I be dismembered? Shisheng imagined the scene of Guiyu dismembered himself. He shuddered. It was better not to court death. Yes, yes. After all, this was a little ancestor that he had to worship. It was better not to provoke him. Although he was quite cute when he was angry, it would be terrible if he turned evil. She didn't like that kind of person. When Guiyu heard the answer she wanted, the corners of her mouth curled up in satisfaction. You will be with me forever, right? Shisheng leaned against the wall behind him. Will you be with me forever? Guiyu didn't hesitate. Yes. You would. My answer is the same as yours. Shisheng reached out and twirled a strand of her silver hair. His fingertips brushed across her cheek, and a ripple appeared in his calm eyes. But you have no way out. I can build an empire for you, but I won't allow you to take a step back. Guiyu tilted his head, allowing Shisheng's hand to come closer to him. You are my escape route. The temperature on Shisheng's fingertips quickly faded, and the cold seeped into his bones and blood. His fingertips reflexively shivered, and then continued to stick to his face. Her breathing slowed and she raised her head to kiss him. Her pink lips pressed against his and Guiyu only felt a burst of softness. The girl's fragrance dispelled the cold and clear air on his body, as if there was a warmth transmitted from her lips. However, before he could feel the warmth, the softness on his lips disappeared. Shisheng was shivering from the cold. I won't kiss you again. Never. Even if she acted cute, he wouldn't kiss her. Guiyu's heart skipped a beat. She draped the black robe in her hands over Shisheng's body, her slightly flushed face full of heartache. Ever since that day, Guiyu often spaced out, and sometimes even felt shy when she looked at Shisheng. To be honest, if he didn't know that he didn't do anything to him, Shisheng would have suspected that he had slept with him at night. But she didn't have the habit of sleepwalking. Guiyu, what did you fry? Shisheng came in from outside and saw Guiyu standing in the kitchen in a daze. The corner of his mouth twitched, and he quickly pushed him away to turn off the fire. Guiyu was pushed by Shisheng, and only then did he come back to his senses. He first looked at Shisheng in confusion, then looked at the pot. He was still holding a spatula in his hand. Coupled with his dazed expression, it was comical no matter how one looked at him. What have you been thinking about these past few days? Shisheng looked at the completely inedible food in the pot and said helplessly, Do ghosts also have menstrual periods? Guiyu realized what he had done and lowered his head slightly. I'm sorry, Shisheng took the spatula from his hand and threw it into the pot. What's wrong? Before Guiyu could answer, his face turned red. No, nothing, Shisheng. He couldn't even speak properly and he said it was nothing? Don't tell me. Shisheng leaned closer to Guiyu and looked at his eyes with a strange expression. Ghosts can catch a cold? Guiyu shook his head vigorously. I don't catch a cold. He paused. What's a cold? Shisheng. You don't even know what it is, and you dare to deny it? Ghosts couldn't catch a cold, and Guiyu didn't interact with humans often. Even if he had heard of it, he wouldn't know what it meant. Shisheng used his index finger to lift his chin. Are you thinking about what happened that day? Guiyu's gaze wandered. What day? I'm not thinking. Look into my eyes. Guiyu's gaze continued to wander. Shisheng's expression became worse, and he finally looked at Shisheng. I'm thinking. Shisheng closed in on him. What are you thinking about? Guiyu could only retreat step by step. In the end, he was forced into a corner by Shisheng. What are you thinking about? Shisheng looked at him with a half-smile. Nothing. Guiyu shook his head. Really? Guiyu hesitated for a moment then nodded. Shisheng asked again, his tone more serious. Is it really nothing? Guiyu shook his head firmly this time. The atmosphere in the room was strangely silent. After a long while, Shisheng reached out to touch his face. The words that came out of his mouth were unbelievably tough. If you want it, just say it. Why are you so shy? Are you a little girl? Motherf asterisk cur, he made it sound like I was going to molest him. Guiyu. He didn't mean it that way. Shisheng retracted his hand and calmly added. Anyway, I'm not giving it to you. She would be courting death if she slept with him. This plane was really a trap. He couldn't even sleep with his own wife. This feeling of only being able to look but not being able to touch was so king uncomfortable. What if he wanted to collapse the world? Host, calm down. If this plane collapses, your character value will break through 300,000. Wasn't that just right? What the hell was with letting this baby experience a game with more than 300,000 points? I've already told you so many times, this isn't a game. Master, come back quickly. This host is always thinking of collapsing the plane and decreasing character value. I just want to kiss you. He really didn't think of anything else. Guiyu felt that she was very innocent and had to explain herself. Shisheng's thoughts of collapsing the plane were suppressed by Guiyu's words. She glanced at Guiyu's faintly expectant gaze and said coldly, No, Guiyu. I knew she would be rejected. She wasn't willing to touch me most of the time. Asterisk little fairy. What does it feel like to be able to see but not be able to touch? Shisheng. Cold face, it's like you know they have votes in their hands, but they just won't vote for you. Little fairy. I'm actually speechless. Hurry up and vote to comfort me. Chapter 907. The spirit energy in this world was quite abundant. Shisheng had been cultivating, but after such a long time, he could only withstand Guiyu's touch. And this was under the condition that Guiyu could control herself. As soon as he lost control of his emotions, she would be frozen into an ice cube. Don't ask her why she knew. She didn't want to say that she had been frozen before. She didn't remember what she said that day, but Guiyu suddenly lost control. What was even scarier was that she happened to be holding his hand at that time. So because of this, she lay in bed for 3 whole days. She had to think of a way. She couldn't live with him like this for the rest of her life, right? Shisheng lay in bed and searched his brain for information. Was there a way for her to withstand the cold energy in Guiyu's body? The simplest way was to disable Guiyu. This method was too scary. She could only think about it, but forget about putting it into practice. The second, easier method was for her to cultivate diligently. When she reached a certain level of strength, she would be able to withstand it. But in the end, she would be able to withstand it. Her lifespan wouldn't be too long. The third method. Find a body for Guiyu. This method was more feasible, but Shisheng felt that he might not be able to accept it. So, after thinking about it, Shisheng still felt that it was better to cultivate diligently. It was better to rely on oneself than on others. Shisheng, who had never been passionate about cultivation, began to indulge in it. Guiyu only came in every day when Shisheng was resting. Ji-luing, Ji-luing. Ji-luing. Intermittent shouts sounded from outside the villa. Shisheng slowly opened his eyes, his temples throbbing with pain. This female lead was going to cause trouble again. Ji-luing. Ji-luing. Come out. Shisheng got out of bed and walked to the window. He lifted the curtains and looked outside, just in time to see Guiyu send Chu Miao flying. Guiyu's strength was definitely enough to kill Chu Miao, but Chu Miao only turned her body at the last moment. Most of the attack didn't land on her body. This was the female lead's charm. No one could compare to it. Shisheng directly opened the window and jumped down. Before Guiyu could attack a second time, he appeared in his line of sight. I can handle it. I won't let her disturb you, Guiyu said. Shisheng waved his hand. Guiyu pursed her lips and no longer spoke, retreating to the side. Why are you looking for me? Shisheng looked at Chu Miao on the ground. Chu Miao stood up and rushed to Shisheng. Where's my brother? Where did you take my brother? What do you mean by your brother? Shisheng was dumbfounded and shouted angrily. Why would I catch your brother? It's not you. If not, why is this in my brother's room? Chu Miao threw an envelope at her. Shisheng took the envelope and opened it to take a look. It was a kidnapping and extortion letter, and the last signature was Ji Luiying's. Shisheng. Wasn't this framing a little too obvious? I didn't kidnap your brother. Believe it or not. Shisheng stuffed the letter back into Chu Miao's hands. Don't cause trouble here. I can tolerate you once, but I won't tolerate you a second time. Don't think you have a lot of face. If it weren't for the fact that you're so stupid that you can't be saved, I would have killed you long ago. It's quite pitiful for the female lead to survive in this way. When Chu Miao heard Shisheng's words, she didn't know why, but she breathed a sigh of relief. She probably didn't know that deep down she believed her. She just wanted to confirm it with her own mouth. My brother is missing. Chu Miao suddenly paused and started crying without warning. Your brother is missing. Why are you crying here at Ai's place? Chu Miao didn't listen to Shisheng at all. She kept crying until she couldn't catch her breath. If it was at night and someone heard her crying, they would definitely think it was a ghost. Shisheng wasn't in the mood to listen to Chu Miao cry. He took Guiyu directly into the villa and closed the door. Chu Miao didn't know how long she had been crying outside. When Guiyu brought her dinner that night, she said that she had already left. Why don't you let me kill her? Do you care about her that much? Guiyu said with dissatisfaction. Where did this jealousy come from? When did this baby care about the female lead? Do you think you can kill her? Damn, you're an idiot. Is the female lead someone you can kill just because you want to? She's very weak. Guiyu meant that it would be very easy for him to kill her. Shisheng sat up straight. But you attacked her twice and she was fine. Don't tell me you were merciful. I didn't. He killed her both times. She was just lucky. Although luck was also a person's capital, one couldn't always rely on luck. Strength was the king. Her luck is much better than you think. If you don't believe me, you can try next time. As long as the female lead's halo didn't disappear, her luck would always be better than ordinary people's, and she would almost never die. The law of immortality was no joke. She could even save you in one breath. At this time, Chu Miao, the female lead, had no idea that she had been sold to Guiyu as a test subject by Shisheng. The next day, Chu Miao came to find Shisheng again. Before she could shout, she was attacked by Guiyu. Just as Shisheng said, Chu Miao's luck was like the heavens. A main character's luck that collapsed was already amazing, let alone a female lead that hadn't collapsed. Chu Miao wanted to cry. Who did she offend? Ji Luiying, can you control your man? Chu Miao shouted at the top of her lungs. She probably felt that her words weren't appropriate, and immediately changed them. Male ghost. This bastard wasn't human at all. Shisheng leaned on the windowsill and looked down at Chu Miao. What are you doing here again? Do you think this is your back garden? If you have nothing to do, you come visit. Chu Miao scurried under the window and looked at Guiyu standing in the courtyard. Seeing that he didn't move, she said, Do you think I wanted to come? See for yourself. Guiyu threw another letter at her. I received this morning. It says that if you don't go, my brother will die. Chu Miao gritted her teeth. Why did your enemy kidnap my brother to threaten you? The contents of the letter were similar to what Chu Miao had said. It asked Chu Miao to lead her to a place, and then let her brother go. Why are you showing it to me? This letter was clearly written for her, asking her to design a way to bring her there. Why was there always an idiot who wanted to harm her through the female lead? If you have the ability, do it directly. What's the point of doing things behind her back? Don't you think you don't have enough brains? Do you think that other people's brains are the same as yours? That they're just for decoration? Shisheng. Even if this baby's brain was just for decoration, it was still a diamond-studded decoration. No, the idiot system was getting more and more cocky. You even dared to talk back to I. Do you believe that I won't tear you apart when I get back? I log off, log off, log off. This system isn't here. Hashtag my host is always oppressing me. Hashtag. Chapter 908. I can't lie to you. Chu Miao told the truth. It was better to suck up to her than to lie to her. You're quite self-aware. Chu Miao was speechless. Don't you know how to be humble? Even a ghost like me knows how to be humble. Shisheng never knew how to write the word humble. When did your brother go missing? Chu Miao was silent for a while. I don't know. She was locked up by Chu Yinin and couldn't go out. A few days ago, Chu Yinin suddenly disappeared, so she took the opportunity to run out. She wanted to see Chu Jing, but when she got home, she didn't see Chu Jing. Instead, she saw the letter on the coffee table in the living room. Oh, maybe your brother has been killed. Shisheng slapped the letter on the windowsill. No, he won't. Chu Miao opened the letter and pointed at the bottom. The kidnapper said that he won't let my brother die if you don't go. Chu Miao paused. I know I don't have the right to beg you, but I still want to ask you. I can't watch my brother die. Shisheng looked calm. You can close your eyes. Chu Miao almost couldn't breathe. She was still in the mood to joke at this time. All right. She had never been nervous before. That confident, arrogant, and scheming look of hers really made people jealous sometimes. It made people want to see her panicked look. Shisheng obviously didn't want to go. No matter who wrote a letter to threaten her, she would be exhausted to death if she had to go there obediently. After all, she had so many enemies that they could circle the earth if they held hands. This person came for you. You should be responsible. Chu Miao's little face was serious. You can't let an innocent person pay for you. Shisheng tilted his head. Ha! You should talk to the kidnapper. What does it have to do with me? I didn't kidnap him. I'm a victim too. Chu Miao was speechless. She almost believed you when you talked nonsense with such a serious face. Chu Miao took a deep breath, stepped back, and knelt on the ground. Ji Luiying, I'm begging you. Shisheng quickly moved aside. He couldn't accept the female lead's kneeling. Just look at the people that the female lead kneeled to. Which villain didn't die miserably? It's useless even if you beg me. This is clearly a trap. I'm not going. F***ck, only an idiot would go. What will it take for you to go? Chu Miao clenched her teeth. As long as you go, even if it takes my life, it's fine. How much is your life worth? Not going, not going, not going. Someone wants to harm I, so I won't go. Ji Luiying, I beg you. Chu Miao knelt on the ground and kowtowed. She couldn't watch her brother die. She went to the place mentioned in the letter, but there was nothing there. She couldn't find her brother at all. I beg you. Chu Miao's voice gradually choked with sobs. However, no matter what Chu Miao said, Shisheng refused to go. Chu Miao left in a daze. It was impossible for her not to blame Shisheng in her heart. After all, it was she who caused this trouble, but she was not responsible for it at all. But Chu Miao knew better that she really had no obligation to save a stranger. What she didn't understand was why someone would kidnap her brother to threaten her. In an abandoned factory, the cement floor was full of potholes, cigarette butts, and beer bottles were everywhere. In the foul atmosphere, the men's shouts got louder and louder. A few men were in a circle playing Fight the Landlord. After a few rounds, they probably felt bored and stopped playing. It's been so many days. What do you think we should do? Didn't the higher-ups tell us to wait for a call? Then let's wait. How's the kid? I went up to check just now. He's not dead. I fed him some water. Don't kill him. It'll be hard to explain. Got it, got it. They talked for a while. There was nothing more to say, so they started to play Fight the Landlord again. In the middle of the game, the phone that was thrown in the middle of the table suddenly rang. A few people looked at each other. A man with a cigarette in his mouth picked up the phone and answered. He didn't say a word and hung up a minute later. Everyone looked at each other. What's wrong? The man with the cigarette put it out. The higher-ups told us to continue delivering letters. Delivering letters again? How many times has it been? What's the meaning of this? Give us a definite answer. Are we going to blackmail or kill him? Someone complained. The man with the cigarette slapped the man's head. Cut the crap. As long as you give us money, we'll do anything. That's right. As long as you give us money, we'll do anything. So, uncles, do you want to take the order? The men looked at the source of the voice at the same time. On the second floor of the abandoned building, a girl was sitting on the edge. Her legs were swaying gently as she looked at them with a smile. Everyone felt a chill down their spines. When did she sit there? There were so many of them, but they didn't notice her. Shisheng jumped down from the second floor and landed lightly on a pile of bricks. He stepped on the bricks and walked to the flat ground. Everyone stood up at the same time and stared at Shisheng warily. Who are you? Why are you here? Shisheng smiled faintly. Don't be nervous. I'm not a good person. Everyone. What did he mean? Who the hell are you? Aren't you looking for me? Shisheng's face was exaggerated. Then why don't you know who I am? What nonsense are you talking about? Who's looking for you? They didn't know her at all. Shisheng thought for a moment and realized that these people were just on the surface. The person behind them didn't show up, so these people didn't know what they were going to do with the people they kidnapped. It's nothing. I came to the wrong door. Shisheng turned around calmly. Oh right. I called the police on my way here. They should be here soon. Beep. Beep. Sirens sounded from all directions. The kidnappers didn't have time to react before they were caught by the police. The girl who was standing not far away was nowhere to be seen. It was as if she had never been there. The kidnappers. What happened? Why were we caught? Where was the girl? Shisheng stood at the top of the factory and watched the kidnappers being taken away by the police. There were fewer and fewer cars around, and finally, peace was restored. Didn't you say you weren't coming? Guiyu asked, puzzled. She was determined not to come, but she changed her mind while he was cooking. The internet said that women were fickle, and it was true. There's a retard plotting against me behind my back. I have to come and pay my respects. Which retard is so daring? She actually went to the female lead's side to threaten him. She was really stupid beyond belief. And they didn't kidnap the female lead. What was the use of kidnapping the female lead's family and friends? The most useful method was to kidnap Guiyu. With your villa's 3 floors and 3 floors outside, who would be able to enter? If they could get in, why would they be kidnappers? They could just go to heaven. Guiyu didn't quite understand her wife's train of thought. Then do you know who it is? I don't know. This cowardly behavior was a bit like Mubai's. But this stupid kidnapper didn't seem like Mubai's methods. Shisheng touched his chin and muttered. Why do I feel like the whole world wants to be my enemy? Then I'll be your enemy. Asterisk hashtag today. Please vote for Nongfu Spring. Hashtag Nongfu Spring is a bit sweet. When it's time to vote, vote. 2017-01. 16 Cherub, a Nuwa greater than 2017. 01. 17 Cherub, Jingxing. The 2 cherub mentioned above haven't come to me to receive their awards. Chapter 909. The police didn't get any useful information from the kidnappers. The number used to contact them was from a dead person's ID card. All the transactions were in cash, and the kidnappers went to a designated location to collect the money. Chu Jing was fine and went home after a few days in the hospital. As for why he was kidnapped, Chu Jing was confused. The kidnappers just kidnapped him and didn't do anything. Chu Miao was relieved when she knew that her brother was safe. At the same time, she felt strange. How did the police find the kidnappers' hiding place so quickly? The police only had an anonymous phone number and nothing else, so Chu Miao didn't know who called the police. Shisheng was very busy recently and didn't have time to talk to Guiyu. Guiyu rarely appeared in front of Shisheng. It was as if he deliberately left her some space, so that she could focus on her own things. However, Shisheng received messages from the bank from time to time about all kinds of credit card swipes. Guiyu, that wastrel, only knew how to squander her family. Who could afford to support such a wastrel? Ding! A pop-up box suddenly popped up on the computer screen. Shisheng put down his phone and slid his chair in front of the computer. He quickly scanned the pop-up box and his fingers jumped quickly on the keyboard. Shisheng stared at the screen. After a few minutes, the corners of her mouth curled up slightly. Found you. Shisheng quickly went out. Guiyu didn't seem to be around. She called out twice, and when there was no response, she walked out of the villa. Shisheng saw Chu Miao standing outside the door. Seeing her come out, he immediately straightened up. Ji Luiying. Shisheng closed the door and strode out, ignoring Chu Miao. Ji Luiying, wait. Chu Miao stopped Shisheng. Shisheng walked past her and quickly disappeared from Chu Miao's line of sight. After leaving Chu Miao's line of sight, Shi Sheng used the iron sword to fly across half of City Z and arrived at the edge of City Z. The area was being planned for development. The local residents had already moved away, and there was no one around. Some houses were torn down, and all kinds of rubbish were piled up on the ground. A pungent smell filled the air. Shi Sheng followed the red dot on his phone and went straight to a house. The house was still relatively intact. There were people guarding outside, but there was no light inside. It seemed like there was no one inside. Shi Sheng got rid of the two gatekeepers and broke in directly. The loud noise alarmed the people around, and they quickly gathered around the gate. When Mu Bai received the news, he felt terrible. Why is she haunting me like a ghost? Like a haunting ghost. Not dispersing. Disperse. If a woman was so awesome, how could he live as a man? This gentleman refuses to accept this. Someone called out to him. Mr. Mu. Continue. Mu Bai gritted his teeth. Yes. Mu Bai tugged at his clothes, took a deep breath, and left the basement. It was very quiet upstairs. Mu Bai pushed open the old door, and the creaking sound could be heard from afar. There was a strong smell of blood in the air. His men should all be dead. Should he run or run now? Just as Mu Bai was thinking about whether or not he could escape, he suddenly felt a chill behind him. His body fell forward uncontrollably as something cold penetrated his body. Mu Bai steadied himself and lowered his head to look at the hole in his abdomen. She actually dared to make a move. Wasn't she afraid of killing the wrong person? Poochie. Another sword pierced into his body. Mu Bai was barely able to stabilize himself. He struggled to turn his head to look at the person behind him. Shi Sheng was pulling the iron sword out of his body. There was a strange smile on his face, and his eyes were as calm as still water. You don't have anything to ask? He did not expect her to make a move directly. Alright, she had always been unpredictable. There were many things that he did not expect. Anyway, it's all nonsense. In the end, I still had to guess them one by one. Mu Bai. When Mu Bai saw that Shi Sheng was coming over, he immediately gave himself an injection. In an instant, he stopped breathing. If he wanted to die, he could only die by his own hands. He could not die by anyone else's hands. What the hell? How could you still commit suicide? My Mu Bai, you're amazing. Mu Bai must be up to something. Shi Sheng went down to the basement. The first thing he saw was some strange equipment with some data displayed on it. A few people were busy. Hearing the noise, one of them turned around and saw an unfamiliar girl coming down the ladder. He shouted, "Who are you?" His voice alerted the others. Everyone looked at Shi Sheng. Someone recognized Shi Sheng. It's the intruder. Where's Mr. Mu? They quickly switched to the surveillance camera. When they saw the scene outside, there was a strange silence. Mr. Mu was dead. Don't kill me. Someone raised his hands in surrender. The others followed suit and raised their hands in front of their chest. Shi Sheng's gaze swept across them and fell on the center of the equipment. In a glass cabinet, a man's figure was faintly discernible. Li Qingyan was not dead? F***ck. What was that idiot Mu Bai trying to do? It's good that he's not dead. Maybe I can kill him with one more stab. Shi Sheng raised his sword and wanted to cut the glass. The tip of his sword almost touched the glass. She paused and looked at the people. You guys, make him disappear. I'll let you go. Make him disappear? What did she mean? Disappear completely. Shi Sheng had been away from the villa for a long time. She pushed the door open and entered the villa. A gust of cold air rushed out of the house. The entire room was covered in ice. It was as if she had entered a world of ice and snow. A figure came over with the cold wind and pulled her into his arms. The cold air rushed into her body without any explanation, and the speed of her blood flow instantly slowed down. It's so cold. Shi Sheng squeezed out a few words with difficulty. Guiyu was startled. He let go of Shi Sheng. The ice in the room disappeared quickly. He looked at Shi Sheng pitifully. I thought you didn't want me anymore. Don't want your ass. So you want I to freeze to death? Shi Sheng took a deep breath. I left you a note. Didn't you see it? Guiyu shook his head in confusion. He realized that Shi Sheng was gone. He didn't even check if there was anything in the room. He didn't know that Shisheng had left something for him. Where did you go? Damn it. If you didn't run around, I wouldn't have told you. I had something to deal with in the underworld. Guiyu said. I wanted to tell you, but I saw that you were busy. I thought it wouldn't take long, so Shisheng realized that ever since that time, Guiyu would always leave. Although he said that he had something to deal with, Shisheng felt that something was wrong. Especially when he came back every time. He felt especially weak. Shisheng felt that something was wrong with Guiyu. One time when he came back from a trip, he pressed him down on the sofa. What are you doing? Guiyu blinked and looked at Shisheng innocently. I didn't. Shisheng placed his palm on Guiyu's chest. If you dare to lie, don't even think about seeing me in this world. Don't doubt me. I have that ability. That you're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.